best of 5. We are on the SOOP Starcraft Global number 4, the successor to Afrika World, now that we're on the new SOOP platform. And thanks so much to everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, you're not here for our faces. You're here for these dudes to face off against each other and punch each other in the face. So, game 1, Site Delta, top left. It's going to be Trigger.
And taking him on, the Korean Terran, representing Vitality. It's Ryung.
Excellent. I don't know if I've ever cast these two players against each other before. Brand new matchup for me, I think.
Yeah, they might have clashed in the past, but I know it's going to be a good series between these two because Trigger is a great TVP player. And Ryung, like, he's absolutely not like a top tier Korean anymore, but he's still got the chops. He's been playing this game for over a decade, and he is good.
Yeah, excellent. I like Ryung quite a bit. His micro is excellent. One of the things I like about him. All right, so currently Team Basilisk has Trigger here. So that's a lot of fun. And let's see where Ryung is real quick. Did they move the search thing in Wikipedia?
Oh dear. I don't know how to navigate that. I always just use Google search and then put Wikipedia player name.
Yep, that's what I'm going to have to do. He's on Team Vitality.
Right.
Excellent. So yeah, blocking the Reaper hop-up spot there. Very traditional stuff. Nothing weird happening in the opening stage here. Phoenix says, who's Trigger? He's a Canadian. He's a Canadian Protoss player. He plays... He's not just a Protoss player either. Got some results as Terran as well here on Wikipedia. So he's kind of messing around with different stuff, which is a lot of fun.
He must have swapped over to Pro... Oh, that must have been like in his earlier days, I guess.
Yeah, and they got records going back pretty far.
He's taken a page out of Neeb's book.
Yeah,
Trigger.
Gotta mix it up on people sometimes.
Trigger, for those of you that don't know or don't follow like the North American EPT, like he is top 4 NA, and he is sometimes beating those top 1, top 2 players. I'd say he's not far behind Estrella, who he's actually living with right now and is going to be playing later today. And
I didn't know they were living together. That's fun.
Yeah, I believe it's Estrella, Future, and Trigger in a house right now. I want to say, don't quote me on that, but that's actually how I found out that they were all in. I was like, hey, when Future played last week, I'm like, hey, are there any other Koreans? And he's like, I'm sitting next to Estrella. So
close enough.
Yeah, so it's going to be really great. Trigger, or no, pardon me, Ryung and Estrella, two of the players on the opposite sides of the bracket for this event, actually played a really close TVP series last night. So I think we're in for a good round of matches today.
Yeah, roommate fight. That's right, Phoenix. And Joe Monk says, Ryung is one of the pros all the others look up to. He was very influential on Maru's game. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
See that influence. Yeah.
Ryung being
then Maru surpassed him, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a little bit older than Maru, so that makes sense that Maru looked up to him. And yeah, Ryung is still quite active, still quite good, grinding these cups and whatnot. We have a Phoenix on the way for Trigger, so going into Sky Toss, no Oracle just yet. 2 Phoenix to start things out. I don't blame him on that, seeing as how Ryung is a player that could very well go for a drop or something like that. For now, Ryung's just poking out with a handful of Marines, and then going to be joining it with 2 Cyclones, so not necessarily a drop. What's probably going to be just a head-on push to catch Trigger off guard.
And Phoenix are a roller bad answer to Cyclone Marine. So this is maybe a mistake here from Trigger to go for those. 1 Stalker, an Adept, a Zealot, and a Shield Battery. It sounds like a start of a joke, but I can't hold this at all. Look at this. Shield Battery Overcharge needs to be popped like immediately.
Okay, 1 Marine goes down, 2 Marines.
Yeah, definitely. There's the Overcharge, and this is probably a fallback position here. Yeah.
Yeah,
fall back a little bit here
done.
from Ryung. Good lift on the Cyclone. And okay, never mind. That went very well for Trigger. I was wrong.
Yeah, the battery placement being nice and forward for Trigger was a bit of a risk, putting it so far forward. But then there's a reason for that, and it worked out for him to hold that ramp really well. The Phoenix lifts just able to kill those soft Terran units. Cyclones are not as tanky as they used to be. And then Marines without combat shield, they're pretty soft too, so.
Yeah, absolutely. They're squishy. Phoenix do bonus to light, which Marines are, so that's a good thing for the Protoss there. Getting a pretty fast Immortal here. Maybe to help deal with the Cyclones, not a bad idea. Robotic Support Bay coming in as well. Yeah, so at this stage, probably Colossus would be fine here. Although there are siege tanks out, so I don't know. Maybe Disruptors might be a better option.
Yeah, we'll see. I think we'll probably see quite a few of both in this series. Trigger is a guy who does like his Blink Stalkers. And then just, playing with Disruptors, Colossus, building those big Protoss death balls.
Yeah, and it does seem like these days in PvT, you want Colossus and Disruptors. You want that multiple sources of splash damage here to deal with the Terran, all their Marines, all their Marauders, their Ghosts and whatnot. So we will see if that's what we get here out of Trigger. Maybe he just wants Colossus. He is definitely getting extended thermal lance. On the Terran side of things, there's that combat shield, stim, +1. So yeah, that timing attack came in before combat shield, before stim, before +1. That was just simply Marine Cyclone trying to get some work done there. Didn't get as much as he wanted, but pretty good at rebuffing groups of Phoenix like this too, although a couple SCVs did go down.
Yeah, a couple of pickoffs. Trigger just had a really nice opening with shutting that attack down. Once you defend something like that from the Terran, you know you get a couple minutes just to take a deep breath and relax. That's coming to an end though, as Stimpack is finishing up for Ryung. He's got +1 about to finish up, Combat Shield about to finish up, and now he's moving out on the map. However, Trigger sees this coming with that great observer positioning.
Yeah, and I mean, detection, scouting, whatever you need an observer to do, they can do all of it. So that is some good stuff here. Charge about to finish up. One of the best upgrades in the game without a doubt. Little auto turret harass. Kind of fun. Should be focusing the probes instead of trying to fight that Zealot, but it wins the fight against the Zealot and then explodes a little bit after there. Is there more stuff in the natural base? Yeah, another auto turret getting dropped in the natural base. You can't lift an auto turret. It's a structure, Phoenix.
No, you cannot. Imagine if auto turrets could lift off like command centers and other Terran buildings.
I mean, I feel like Phoenix should be able to lift them. They're not exactly like ginormous and like implanted in the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Now this is Ryung being so ballsy right now, like going for a big drop like this, and the Phoenix are just going to miss this so darn close. Trigger is looking for this kind of drop by Ryung, but even by just like harassment standards, this is so risky by Ryung. He's not going to commit to it. I think that's the right decision because charge lots that Trigger now has and Phoenix can shut down a drop like this very effectively. Ryung's got to wait till he gets a bit of a bigger army that can take Trigger in a head-to-head fight.
Yeah, flying in there was dangerous. Vikings being added in 2 at a time right now to help deal with the Colossus. Concussive Shell pretty great here too against the Zealots, especially slowing those suckers down when you're kiting.
Oh boy, here we go.
And he's like, all right, if you're going to push me, I'm going to drop you and try to hold this whole high ground with like half of my army. Widowmine's trying to thin out those Zealots. Pretty good job there, but another group coming in on the other side. They're dropping
oh my gosh, that's Trigger. So many Zealots, though.
It is, yeah, way too many Zealots. Just going to focus down this. Nexus, the recall is not going to save the Nexus, but the recall does finish. Man, there's so many Zealots. Warping in 7 Stalkers to try to deal with this. It's a lift on the orbital command instead of it being dead. And some evacuation there happens. I don't know if that was enough, but so many SCVs are dying here. 15 SCVs still in the natural base. Ryung's in trouble.
Trigger's got to be careful, though. This is only a portion of his army. He recalled most of his buffer, his Zealots. So Ryung's diving on top of this. Vikings are trading out with the Phoenix, and the force field on the ramp was amazing for Trigger. So Ryung does not have all his army. Now it moves forward, though. He's going to clean up this Protoss force. However, in come the reinforcements for Trigger, and Ryung just was not able to pull it together. Beautiful execution by Trigger.
Yeah, man, that Zealot count was hefty. 43 SCVs have died, 63 to 40 army supply, 59 to 22 on the worker count in favor of Trigger. And third base lifted, second base lifted. Yeah, the main Nexus died, but that's not enough.
GG.
And Trigger gets game 1. Dude, that Zealot count was nasty. I thought Ryung was like, yes, good Widowmine hits on those Zealots. And then there were like 12 more swinging in from the other side. Brutal. Yeah, and that's the dangerous thing about trying to make a drop like that is, yeah, your army's doing some damage on the other side, but then your army defending is smaller, and suddenly your third base is in trouble, and then suddenly your natural's in trouble, and yes, you killed the Nexus, but not enough to really deal with the army as a whole of the Protoss, and that was that. So game 1 going here to our guy Trigger. The Canadian gets the win. And we're going to be on Crimson Court, the ladder edition, for game number 2.
Yeah, that was just a bit rough for Ryung. Like, there's a world in which that goes better for him. However, having his reinforcements in his main base allowed Trigger to place down that great force field, because there's a world in which if Ryung, say, has all his forces at his natural, then once Trigger does the recall, he can kill the Colossus and everything. But because of that great force field, Trigger just destroyed Ryung, and any chance of a comeback was gone with that. So well done to him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the trick. You got to be able to defend effectively on your side of the map if you're going to do some dropping, and if you can't, game's going to get over pretty fast. So Crimson Court, weird map. I like it quite a bit. I like games on this map generally. So we will see what we get. Okay. All right. So top right, Team Basilisk, it's Trigger.
And in the bottom left, it's Ryung.
Jiffy Lube in chat here. Is that a play on Jiffy Lube? I imagine it is. That's a good one.
That is a great one.
Yeah, man, PvT. I cast a really good game, Hero Marine and Showtime on this map a couple weeks ago. It's nuts. There are a lot of attack vectors, a lot of dropping, a lot of warping and zealots in the enemy base. Those gold bases on the high grounds are pretty hard to deal with tanks on the low ground and Colossus firing on your stuff, and just a lot of ways to get harassed on this map. So big fan of that. Let's see how it works out for both of these players. And on the scout out, probe moving in to see what's going on. Ryung's not going like super duper early second gas or anything. He's just going the one gas into the barracks. We'll see if he gets a Reaper or not. And yeah, Big Game's PvT is definitely phenomenal, and Showtime's PvT is definitely phenomenal. Like, they are both really good at that matchup, and it was a lot of fun to see that game for sure. So probe comes in, goes for the harass, a little bit too late to really delay construction on that barracks, and doesn't know if this is a Reaper or not, and it is, so you're going to run anyway. You can block the command center. Thing is, Terran will just build the CC a little bit off center and lift and land it. So, I mean, Ryung does not have the cash to expand. Oh, there you go. Or do it on the high ground if you're really worried about stuff, which right now Ryung does not know what's happening. There could be a double proxy gateway right outside of his vision. So he's going to play this extremely safe and build it inside the main, which is a little bit slower, but that's okay. Shouldn't be too much of a problem here. Getting a factory up, now getting that second gas, and probably going to be for an early cyclone. We'll see if he goes for more of that early pressure, or if he's just happy to maybe get the Reaper in there and cause some problems.
There goes said Reaper, moving into the natural base. We'll see that Adept Shade of Trigger cancels it, though. He's got to protect the probes. These players do this little dance. Yeah. Ryung will get into the main base. He's going to see that it's a Twilight and then get out of there. So nice scout.
Yeah, I mean, anymore, the Reaper getting a single probe kill is like, wow, way to go. So really the primary purpose of it in the current meta is just going to get a scout off, see what that first tech structure is, and knowing it's a Twilight is awesome. Man, he's upgrading to an Orbital inside the main too. So at this stage, the Adept can't see that. He doesn't know if this is a one-base attack or not. So a little bit scary here from Trigger, but Ryung does have the second base, and really nothing big is coming towards Trigger's way. Not yet, anyway.
Okay, there's Blink on the way for Trigger. So if Protoss isn't going Stargate into PvT, odds are they're going into some amount of gateways and Blink, so I love to see this, as Trigger is really good with Blink Stalkers. Ryung is going for a Banshee informed that it is a Twilight opening, so he's going for this thinking that he's going to be able to get some damage done.
So yeah, turns out a ton of Blink Stalkers can handle Banshees pretty effectively. So
Yeah.
we'll see if that's going to be a problem here for Ryung or not. Siege tank in production. Tanks do pretty well against Stalkers, but once they have the blink, they blink on top of you and then you die. So yeah, Blink Stalker pretty good at what we're dealing with. What they don't do great against is a ton of Marines and Marauders with Stim. But that doesn't seem to be what Ryung is opening with anyway.
Yeah, Ryung is going to be a ways away from that, so he is going to be in that Terran position where you got to hunker down for a little bit until you eventually get up the stim, get up the extra racks, and then just have to defend with siege tanks and preferably a bunker from the blue Terran at some point soon. Because he sees these stalkers and he's got to know this is coming. There should be a bunker on the way already. Now there's one building at the natural base. He's going to move that siege tank back so it can cover a little bit of the main. And he has another tank on the way. This is a nerve-wracking position for the Terran, though. We've seen how good Protoss are at getting damage done with these stalkers. Banshee can cloak and try and bully these stalkers a little bit. This is going to force Trigger's hand to go in and get what damage he can done. He's going to try and trade out. Use the Prism when the Stalkers are on cooldown with Blink. The tank, the Marines, and the Cyclone will push this out, though. And that's an interesting use of the Cloaked Banshee for Ryung to put a timer on this attack.
Yeah, defensive Cloak Banshee. That's not something you see all the time at all. But yeah, Siege Tank, Cyclone, Marine here. Pretty good positionally. Got enough little, Marine Cyclone to maybe protect the tank from getting blinked on, and bam, that's tough. You immediately blink in there and take a tank shot, you're like, okay, well, that's not great. And yeah, Trigger's having to fall back here.
Yeah, and Terrans have really picked up on this in the past couple of years. It's that you need to use a wall to keep the stalkers out. Yeah. Because Protoss will blink in, they'll dance around your tank. Using that wall guarantees that the Protoss can't just blink in and go right for your tank because they got to walk around the wall. And so that is what's keeping those stalkers out of that main base. Trigger, though, he's happy with this opening. He's got his third base. He's mining away. He's keeping the Terran locked in. And now there is a Cloaked Banshee out. However, look at that. Observer, two stalkers in the main. Nothing in the natural.
Oh, that's true.
But then 3 stalkers and an observer in...
Yeah, but look at this. Just walks right into the natural. Doesn't even have to go through that.
Yeah, that is a good pick by Ryung. He's like,
that's so crazy. Usually Banshee's coming through the outside, but this one's like, nah.
Yeah, well done.
Through the front door because he knew when 5 probes go down, Banshee doesn't even really try to run there. Against Blink Stalker, it's not going to work anyway, so not bad. Kind of slowing down that economy a tiny bit for Trigger.
Yes, Terran, you are absolutely happy to trade out that Banshee at this point in the game for 5 probes. Now, Ryung has a bit of an odd flight path as he almost crashes headfirst into that Prism, has to turn those medivacs around. Seeing all those Zealots is going to really make him be careful at this point in the game, but still, he's going to want to move out soon. Just make sure he's got enough to defend against these Zealots and these Stalkers. This is a bluff by Trigger. He's planning on getting into Colossus and +1. Maybe harass a bit with the Zealots, but this isn't really an all-in we're seeing. Just yet, anyway.
No, definitely not. I mean, we're looking at Concussive Shell +1, a Ghost Academy getting fired up, so a third base here from Ryung is going to be in his best interest to get that extra gas. So Trigger's third base is pretty happily working away. Ryung being on 2 bases, not great. So like you said, Ryung needs to go, and it looks like he is. He stims out anyway, lets the third base, there you go, takes the third base finally at 8 minutes. And, I mean, a push out here against a 3-basing Protoss, maybe not entirely necessary, but pushing out far enough to establish that third was a big deal.
Yeah.
Just more Vikings to deal with the Colossus, and that Ghost production has begun.
Yeah, Ryung taking it just nice, slow, and steady. He should not be caught off guard, though, when the inevitable Zealot Prism backstab comes in. We see him building a turret in the perfect position to help zone this out. He should not just rely on this turret, though. When Ryung moves out to an attack right now, he should make sure to have some reinforcements back at home to defend against the almost inevitable backstab.
Yeah, I'd put money on it. There will be a counterattack of some kind.
Ryung is looking to move forward. There is a Colossus on the high ground. Battery not quite done, but good force fields by Trigger. The mines do manage to burrow, though.
Yeah, take out a Zealot. That's totally fine. Widow Mines get cleaned up. Force Field's making this a bit of an awkward fight for Ryung. Widow Mine gets burned out of the ground air by the extent... No, not extended Thermal Lance, just regular range Colossus.
That Prism must have flown right into that turret. Or, no, where's the Prism? The Prism did die.
Yeah, when, though?
The turret didn't get it. It must have been something else that got it. So pardon my observing there. As we have a pause by Trigger.
What's up, Trigger? You okay, man? Your mouse die?
Maybe he is to pee. And that's why he says PP.
Maybe. Okay, he's good. That's really short. I wonder what happened.
Maybe its mouse was a little funny or something. Who knows?
Need to, like, shake it and get it back on the track.
Yeah, sometimes the little bit of love you gotta give your mouse. Those with Razer products will understand.
Razer. Ridiculous. The Olympics started today.
Yeah, are you watching that?
Haven't. It's mostly just opening ceremonies, which I don't really care about, but I'll watch some of the track and field events. Basketball should be fun. The Canadian team is really good this year.
Yeah, Canadian teams have been doing way better in sports that we've traditionally sucked at.
Yeah.
Like volleyball, soccer.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so big old drop. Not enough soccer to deal with this, thank you very much. Trigger decides to go. No, he's fallen back a little bit. He doesn't like what he sees there. The main base is still going to town. Zealot's warping in to deal with this, but they are getting caught up inside the SimCity. Widow Mines inside the base are thinning their numbers out. Gateways are starting to fall, and Trigger's not really responding to this that well.
Yeah, the numbers game working out for Ryung. Trigger was prepared maybe for a drop of like 2 medivacs. Ryung's commitment to 4 allowed him to catch Trigger off guard. He's had to bring everything back home. However, he has left just a handful of units, actually, that are now wandering across the map way too far. 2 Immortals, a couple Zealots, and some Stalkers, overcommitting. I mean, Trigger had the right idea to leave them behind to defend, but he must have issued a wrong command there, so making a mistake in the chaos of the drop. And so Ryung gets some really nice pickoffs there.
Whew, that was amazing. So a bunch of probes died. It's still 72 workers from Trigger. He's not that bad off at all. Dolming says everybody was rooting for the Oilers to bring the Stanley Cup home to Canada, but maybe next year. It's been a while. Anyway, taking that Rich Vespine Geyser base here on the high ground is Ryung. Trigger's had his for a minute for a 4th base. We've seen that a couple times already. But
He lost 2 Immortals, and he's like, I need 3 more. So he's chrono boosting out 3 Immortals, realizing that they're pretty well-rounded units, then making 4 Archons as well. I mean, Archons are good, but...
They are rich EMP targets, though.
Yeah,
the ghost count is getting up there.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see how the EMPs are from Ryung. He's good enough to do that. I love these medevacs parked over here with an observer being like, hey, guys.
Oh my gosh. He's making more Immortals.
Wow. I mean, they're pretty good against Marauders, but, like, that's a lot of Immortal.
This is the kind of thing you get with NA players. Like, things can look normal, but they're just slightly weird.
Some little twist they bring to it. Did he try to drop in? He keeps juking like he's going to drop in and just making Trigger pay attention back here at least, which is good.
Yeah, I really like that. Now he's queuing up another drop. Drops his Ghost out because he did lose a few, so he wants to try and keep some of those alive. Actually, just bringing in more. I love this decision. Trigger's like, oh yeah, I got this drop on lock. And then as the sky gets dark and 4 more medivacs fly on in. Oh my gosh, he's making more though.
Dude, what
He's going up to
this?
11 Immortals.
Man, Ryung needs to start implementing some Liberator play if there's going to be this many Immortals.
Yeah. Maybe that's what Trigger's banking on. He's like, oh, these Terrans, they've eased off on the Liberator train.
Have they?
I think a little bit, because wasn't there like a patch or something? But don't quote me on that. In goes Ryung now. catching Trigger off guard. Instant recall by the Protoss. Ryung is just going to load on up.
Nice.
Unfortunately for Trigger, Immortals cannot shoot up.
Turns out.
And Ryung, yeah, he does now go into Liberators. He's like, wait a second.
Yeah, there we go. Advanced Ballistics gets fired up. He's like, what is this? Taking 4 command centers at a time. I mean, we are in super, super duper late game mode right now.
We are, yeah. And this is
picks up again. Is he going to go for it?
Oh, he's got to be so careful. These Stalkers can blink across those minerals, too. Oh my gosh, Ryung, what are you doing? You goofy goober. Get on out of there.
Stalkers? Yeah, don't do that. Oh, throwing up. Is he going to Planetary Fortress those, or just make extra orbitals?
If
Planetary
he
would
built
be a
just
lot of
the
fun.
biggest planetary wall in the world, I'd be all for it, except in a game in which the Protoss has 11 Immortals.
True. It's kind of like 2-shot like Planetary at that point.
Okay, Ryung goes in once more. There is a High Templar. It eats an EMP, and then he targets it down, hits it with another EMP. He tries to take the fight, but there is too much Protoss there, and so that's an okay defense by Trigger. We're now seeing a barracks, as Ryung seemingly gives up on building tanks and Widow Mines, float over to the right side of the map. A factory, not a barracks, pardon me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trigger expanding down the right side. Pretty vulnerable, but there is a whole lot of Protoss just covering that right side. I mean, Ryung expanding. We are really getting into super duper late game for PvT here, and a Fleet Beacon gets fired up.
The choke points on this map do make it a bit difficult for Protoss to attack on in.
Little tiny engagement down this way. Didn't send enough to shut that thing down. I can tell you that much. Disruptors being added in. Ryung working on his 3-3. And we might see these Immortals get traded out in exchange for carriers here.
Yeah, it's getting to that point because Ryung is building lots of Liberators now. 4 at a time. He's already up to 6. And the anti-air from Trigger is literally 4 Stalkers and 5 High Templar right now. And the Archons too, if you count their tiny shots. But yeah, all of a sudden Trigger's going to be like, oh boy, what do I do?
Shield battery overcharge?
Yeah, he's buying time. Cannons actually kill a ghost. Almost get a second one, too. High Templar drops a feedback.
Nice.
Psystorm has been researched, so that's an option, too, but they are just playing the feedback EMP game. Trigger is maxed out, too, so he cannot make more Stalkers to try and break this position.
Making a mothership, but the Viking count is about 7, which is a problem. Going after some of these probes at this base is good. Trigger does not want to engage with this, but he's going to lose this Nexus if he doesn't. He has to do something.
Yeah, he's making one Tempest, but that's not going to be enough to deal with this.
Ooh.
And Ryung has just made a checkmate composition, it seems. Like, Trigger, he's lost a critical position. He's lost an important base. Like, his 3rd is now cut off from his natural, pretty much.
Yeah, he's trying to make Tempest to deal with this. This is something we saw a lot in the early days of Legacy of the Void to deal with Liberators, but they just shoot slow. They don't do bonus damage to Liberators. They're not really the answer, in my opinion.
No, and yeah, like...
And the Vikings are here anyway.
This is so much damage getting done by Ryung. Ryung sees that this base is up here, so he can maybe rotate to that next. He's just trading out. As Trigger still can't break this location, Ryung is going to unsiege, potentially go home, but no, instead he's going forward, and we've actually seen Trigger use the mothership to recall for a counterattack. I was wondering where'd that Toss army go. He took most of his units that can't shoot up and is just looking for as much damage as he can get.
Yeah, but then Liberators are home. Tiny little Marine Marauder Ball trying to do some work here. Mothership did pop the cloak, but it's timed. It's going to wear off here eventually. This is a crazy game, too.
Yeah, these two players are having a lot of fun with this. We are seeing Trigger still in a bit of a tricky position. He's got money in the bank, but he's lost pretty much all his Stargates, and he only has 2 Tempest out. And he even lost a lot of his gateways. He's got no anti-air to deal with this, so we see him attacking in with his 11 Immortals, and it's starting to look like 11 Immortals were a mistake.
Yeah, without a doubt. The hug of life on this planetary is so big. Oh, but man, there are Liberator Marine Marauder on top of all your production. Trigger is dead, man.
Yeah, he's not seemingly doing anything. He's warping in Stalkers now, but, like, he needed to be making, like, 1,000,000 Stalkers to be able to clean up all these Liberators. And it's been a very messy situation, but I think Ryung has been able to checkmate this. Stalkers blink forward. They do kill, like, 1 or 2 of the Liberators. EMP goes down, and looks like we have a second of lag here. Falcon Paladin. Oh no, are you here? Looks like his camera's gone dark too. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like Falcon may have DC'd. Who knows what the situation there is. Yeah, I can just finish this match, and we'll see if he comes back or not.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back. What happened?
I don't know. Something just crashed on me, but we're back, so that's good. Can I rejoin the match fast enough? Come on, Starcraft, come back. Phoenix is like, I'm here. I'm ready. Put me in, coach.
Wasn't he talking about, like, replacing, like, a pro? Yeah, he said in my Discord he'd replace a pro player too.
Yeah.
If someone couldn't make it, I think. Unfortunately, you did drop.
All right. Well,
I think this game is just about over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Trigger's pretty dead here.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 76 supply to 130 of the Terran. Ryung's coming on in with a lot more stuff. There is a boatload of cannons being healed by 1 battery. That goes down, though. And another base for Trigger will fall. He's down to 3 bases pretty much at this point, and no armies, so that should be game.
Yeah, I'm just watching the stream here, and I mean, yeah, that 64 to 20 army supply is brutal. Another Nexus ends up falling. I mean, it is... Trigger is trying to hold on, but I don't know what he's got.
We got Marines chasing probes.
Ugh. Trying to throw up a Nexus on top of where a command center already exists, that's never a good feeling.
No. I'm not sure where these probes are going, but they're going. Are they attacking? Are they going to go for some SCV blood?
That would be great. Take down a couple mules? Yeah.
No, instead they're just going, oh, Widow Mine! Poor probes.
Are they just scouting? I guess. Dude, Trigger, but... Trigger.
Yeah, you gotta give it to him for trying. Ryung's economy is down, but, like, he's still, like, 5-6 bases.
Yeah.
GG. There we have it.
Good stuff. GG. All right, we tie the series up, which is a ton of fun. Always a fan of that.
Yeah, big fan. And that's exactly the kind of scrappy games we hoped for when we invited a seasoned a seasoned Korean player to take on some of the young North American upstarts.
Okay. We're going to hop in here, and I should be ready for Alcyone.
Okay. Both players are ready, so we'll just jump into the next game. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning in into the SOOP Starcraft Global number 4. This is our 4th event on the new platform. Make sure to get your username if you're tuning in. Give the channel a follow here on SOOP, and you can press that thumbs up button as well in order to get that going.
All right. Excellent.
Okay, in the top right, we have got the blue Protoss representing Canada. It's Trigger.
And in the bottom left, am I on your camera? There we go. It's a red Terran. It's Ryung.
So I don't know if you saw, talking about the Olympics, I don't know if you saw in the news how we had like the announcement that the IOC voted to allow esports into the Olympics.
Uh-huh.
Do you think we'll see StarCraft 2 in that at some point?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, StarCraft is the original esport, so it'd be weird if it wasn't involved at all. I mean, that said, probably more popular to do something like League of Legends, but I don't know. Fortnite.
It's interesting because, like, traditional Olympics, players do not get a prize pool for winning an event, right? Like, it's just the prestige and sponsorships, isn't it?
It is. Yep. It's
So-
prestige. It's, yeah, and some countries do give, like, cash prizes to people for medaling in the Olympics.
Oh, okay, cool.
Or, like, give them a home or something. I don't think Canada or America do that, but other places do.
No, you just get McDonald's sponsorships, that kind of thing.
Wheaties. Back in the day.
Wheaties, pardon me?
Yeah. Oh, right. I guess Wheaties didn't make it to Canada. It's just a breakfast cereal.
Oh, okay.
But, like, through the 70s and 80s and 90s, they did giant sponsorships with, like, gold-winning American medal athletes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't think they have in a while, but that's my childhood, so.
Yeah, they had some big ones with McDonald's, and it was just so ironic that they were having Olympic
Yeah.
athletes promote McDonald's. So they're
Yeah.
like, this is
Well,
awesome.
At least Wheaties was, like, whole brand stuff, so you could pretend, like, this is healthy. Like, McDonald's is hilarious. That's good. Another Twilight opening here. Let's see if that gets scouted again.
a one-gate Twilight opening, notably for now.
Ooh,
Are we gonna
DTs maybe.
DTs give us the Dark Templar?
Give us the Invisible Man. Let's go. Come on, Trigger.
Do it.
Do it. Bring your NA chaos to this stream. You already did a little bit, and it was fun, but we need more. All right, Twilight into...
Blink. Boo.
the most standard, boring option available. Resonating Glaives would have been more fun.
Yeah, that would be wild. We don't see that too often against Terran.
No. Got nerfed right into the ground. It was good for like 10 minutes, though.
It was good for more than 10 minutes. There were multiple GSLs.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Or there was at least like 2 when Legacy of the Void first came out. Ryung attacks with 1 Hellion,
That's very
leaving
funny.
1 behind because this is totally undefended.
Yeah.
I think he's in disbelief. He's like, wait a second. Okay, bring the other Hellion.
Another probe dies. Another probe is going to die here. You're not saving it.
No,
Good
Blink isn't
scout,
done
sees
either,
the
so
Twilight.
it's
Dude,
so
this is
funny
one-
how little damage Ryung got compared to what he could have.
It's not done yet. Okay, now he's done. 4 probes, though.
And the boatload of lost mining time.
Yeah. And there's a medevac moving out. God, quadruple Widow Mine medevac. I haven't seen one of these in a while. Usually it's like 3 Widow Mines, 2. Nope, 4. Straight up 4. Let's go.
Yeah, Trigger
Yeah.
was getting ready to posture offensively. I mean, he did have a earlier scout in the game, so he's like, Ryung's probably not going to attack me, which evidently was the wrong decision as 2 Hellions run up and you've got nothing on your side of the map as Protoss.
Yeah,
Well-
Blinkstalker is a good answer to Widow Mine drops
Oh my
in
gosh.
general here, and great reaction time from Trigger. Yeah, 2 probes down for 2 Widow Mines shots. 3. This is great. This is a really good defense.
Until the final Widow Mine. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, good defense. Lost mining time, 4 kills. I don't mind that for Ryung since he also got out with the Medivac.
Yeah. It's fine. It's like base level. But yeah, losing the medevac would have been a disaster for sure. Charge getting fired up here from Trigger. I got a Forge on the way from him too, and Stim getting started on the other side for the Terran. So, bit of harassment. Pretty good stuff. Again, nothing really crazy getting accomplished there.
Yeah, third is on the way for Terran. However, Ryung does already have 3 racks finished up. I'm getting a little concerned for our Protoss friend here because of that early harassment he took. It set him back a little bit. And he's just heading into having Zealots and Blink Stalkers against a Terran that's going to have Stim Marauders and Marines with +1 combat shield.
Yo, that does not seem like a good fight.
No.
Trigger.
So we'll see if Ryung is able to make a window here. He does have that third on the way, reasonably timed, so he could potentially just macro, but then potential for aggression is here, and he's already moving out, bringing that medivac with the mine out on the map. Trigger's a little scared now, too. He's like, oh man, I neglected my defenses, and I got slapped. Now he's a little bit late with positioning these stalkers. He does get the medivac, which is really nice. Forces a siege on the tank as well, slowing Ryung down.
Yeah, this is going pretty good for Trigger, buying him a lot of time to get that charge finished, and now it's done. +1 attack getting fired up, a shield battery. Ryung has to siege again.
Yeah. Big move by Trigger, and the Observer once again being clutch. That is what notified Trigger of the move out. So that's very important. Here come in the medivacs for Ryung, so he can potentially try and take this further. Trigger's actually trying to collapse on top of this. The tanks do get a few shots off on some of the Zealots. He's meeting...
Sorry, the Zealots are just bouncing around. The tanks die, but a lot later than they should have. Widowmine's getting burrowed in, eating a bunch of those Zealots too.
Big Widowmine shots. No counterattack as well.
There. Yeah, no counterattack, no nothing. Both players licking their wounds, falling back. A bunch of Widowmines died there, which is good for the long term for the Protoss. And then Trigger says, we can do better than that. More Zealots. +1 attack is done. Let's go.
I gotta give it to Trigger in the middle of that fight and all that chaos. He has repositioned his Observer so he could see just where the Terran's army is. So I'm a big fan of that. Stalkers are getting whatever pickoffs they can. Ryung is confident, though, to move out once more. He can just kite these Zealots and Stalkers for days in the middle of the map if he wishes. Medivac could potentially be picked by Stalkers. Not quite. And there's the Prism.
Yeah, tale as old as time here, man. Warping in charge lots to cause all sorts of problems in your main base, and having to split your army to deal with the stuff down here at your third base, too. Zealots inside that mineral line. Some mules are going to go down. They're not fresh mules, but not... SCVs are dying.
Oh, man.
1921, another giant warping. And things are snowballing out of control here for Ryung.
They really are. Trigger is a little bit committed with this, even bringing his Immortal to the front. That gets picked off. The Prism is still going in the main base, though. It hasn't been caught. It's getting more SCVs. Ryung is falling to pieces here.
Yeah, it is, 54 to 40 workers in favor of Trigger. 28 SCVs have died. Mules have died. The good news is the third base isn't dead because it can lift and run, but economically, we're in a bad place here if you're a Ryung fan.
Yeah, Ryung is approaching pull the boys territory, I feel like, after something like that. As Terran, you feel like garbage when this happens. You're like, well, I gotta kill the Protoss in the next minute, or I'm in a very tough position. It's not going to happen for Ryung, though. He is up on army supply by a drastic amount. Maybe he can move out and get something done. Finally kills that pesky Observer.
Blech. Trigger expanding behind it. Robotic support bay is just about done now. You can start seeing some Colossus added in, some Disruptors, but man, charge lots alone. With that Stalker support, getting some serious work done here.
Yeah, the 1-1 being done for both sides now. However, it will make these Zealots a little bit trickier to kill. The EMPs can balance that out a little bit for Ryung, though. And he is looking for blood now. He's pulling the boys. There we have it.
It is time. We're down 10 workers. That means we got to get something done here. Here comes nothing. Splash damage non-existent against these SCVs.
Yeah, non-existent. There's one EMP that softens up so many of the Zealots. There's another one, and these SCVs can buffer so well against the Zealots. Ryung is forcing Trigger's hand as he goes into the natural. Some of these reinforcements are being caught, but then Ryung is just collapsing on top of this. And for all of Trigger's hard work, it looks like he may die to the steamroller that is Ryung's worker force.
The losses kiting here. No, it does get wiped out by the Marauders. More Zealots are warping in. 25 SCVs have died. This is it. Ryung needs to win with this push, and he's at 75 to 16 army supplies, so it sure looks like he's got it. Shield battery gets sniped down. Warping of a few zealots, but if you fight well enough with those, they are. Probes coming in to fight here. 2 stalkers blinking to try to stay alive. More zealots in production here. The army of Ryung is getting whittled down. No way. Is Trigger going to hold this? It's very tight. Oh, is he falling?
Oh, there's reinforcements for the Terran, though.
Oh, wow. How did he afford that? He pulled, I guess he didn't pull all the boys.
It's mules, man.
He's still at 15 SCVs remaining, so I didn't think he pulled all of them. But GG, man. That was awesome. What a fun ending.
GG. Yeah, Trigger, I was going to comment on his tech being a little bit late for all the, even after that Zealot harassment and all the SCV kills he got. Like, his robo and everything was very, very late.
Yeah, that one Colossus without extended thermal lance is showing up at like 10 minutes into your game. You're probably not going to do super well against the incoming push. Yeah, you do. It's just we called it. The SCVs were there. There was absolutely no splash damage to deal with them, and incredible. So we're going to go to Oceanborn here for the next match.
Okay, both players are ready. So we'll load into game number 4 between these two. If you guys are enjoying the stream and you want to support these players, make sure to hit up that match arena. Looks like we did have one contribution to it. Phoenix of War. Hey. Supporting these events, as always, it is very much appreciated for the players. For those of you that don't want to support financially, though, you can still go to that match arena link and utilize the claim code button to add 25 cents to the prize pool for free, which is fantastic. Now, in the top left, we have got Ryung with the 2-1 lead.
And in the bottom right, the Canadian, just like Phoenix, it's Trigger. All right, Ryung, one more game to do this thing. Yep, just gotta know when to go, says Joel Mang. Excellent. Very, very true.
Is that the chrome icon there?
Oh, looks like it, yeah. No color, but yeah. Well, what's the play going to be here? Again, blocking the Reaper hop-up spot. No proxies in the series yet, but it doesn't mean they're impossible. Love to see one, honestly. Honestly, especially from Trigger. Just because, like, Ryung isn't SCP scouting all that much, if at all. Of course, I say that, and he's sending one out now. Yeah, all right, never mind. Ryung's like, no, you're right. It could be a proxy Falcon. Good call. Make sure it's not. It's a 1-gate expand into Cybercore. Little bit greedy here.
Yeah, I like it, because Ryung has skipped the Reapers a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. But SCV does scout the timing on that Nexus and says,
We'll see if Ryung is going to go into those Hellions or Widowmines once again. It's not looking like it right away, as he does have the factory away from the reactor. He can always float that little distance, but that can be a bit of a tell of his plans. And so I imagine it'll probably be a Cyclone or something. Stargate is the choice by Trigger. He won that game with the Phoenix, so he's going to try and replicate that perhaps.
The days of the Twilight are over as the Stargate finishes warping in here. The Phoenix did pretty well for him in game 1. Maybe he's trying to recapture the magic. of winning that first game using the Phoenix to a pretty strong extent.
These
I mean,
guys
back into Phoenix.
both being a little bit out of position. As last game, Trigger got surprised by some Hellions that showed up. This time, Ryung gets surprised by an Adept that shows up in his natural. However, the Adept does get punished quite a bit, almost going down. And oh, the Hellion's coming in. Will it kill it? One shot, two shots, and it does perish. So good catch by Ryung.
Yeah, the Hellion Adept relationship's always a very strange one. Don't see very much of it. For reasons. All right, so a bunch of Marines defending here. Medevac in production, probably some kind of a Marine drop in the future. Ryung has been pretty aggressive in the early stages with Widow Mines, with Hellions, with drops using Marines and Marauders, and bigger drops later on. Big fan, obviously, of the drops from the Terran perspective. Siege Tank 2, so maybe Medevac just used for healing. The more traditional push out here, Marine Tank Medevac, maybe just pushing right up the front.
Yeah.
That could be good.
1-1-1 from the Terran player.
Yeah, big fan.
And Ryung is building that Marine count up to a healthy number. He's already got 9 out. And as Protoss, that raw Marine firepower can be difficult to deal with just the Phoenix. Medivac saving the day, as I think that Widow Mine may have killed a Phoenix. 1 Phoenix, 2 Phoenix go down, so really, really rough start for Trigger. Oh my gosh, that's disastrous for the Protoss player. The mine...
It is.
Oh. Because, yeah...
Faster Robo-Bay getting fired up here, but it's not really going to be ready for this push that is starting to move out.
And Trigger goes for a third base, but he's seen the 1-1-1. He should know that this is coming. Instead... he's a little bit blind. Ryung even bringing SCVs to repair the Medivac, to repair the tank. And
repair the Widow Mine if necessary.
Oh, everything, yeah. Now the Protoss player, he's going to be in a really rough position. He's got 1 battery finishing up at his third base. He's going to have an Immortal out. Can an Immortal, 3 Phoenix, and 2 Adepts defend this?
Shield battery overcharge definitely can make that happen. Forcing the Widow Mine to burrow in a little bit earlier. Those SCVs are hugging that tank to death. Early siege tank shot. Shield battery not popping overcharge quite yet. Ryung hasn't jumped on this. But, oh, Liberator inside the main at the same time. Probes are going down.
Wow, Ryung is going home, it looks like.
Maybe 7 kills on that Liberator. Oh, brutal. Worker count, 47 to 44. Ryung is up. Phoenix on the other side, getting some serious work done. Not enough Marines left home to deal with these guys. They might lift and kill that tank, but instead they decide to fall back. They might run right over these guys, though,
and they do.
And die. Ooh, one of the Phoenix does get wiped out. They really want that Medevac, but they can't quite get it. 2 Medevacs, or 2 Phoenix remain, and they're very injured.
I'm amazed that Ryung made the decision to go home. Whether it was the right one, we'll never know. It is going to allow the game to go longer, though, as he's got that 3rd command center up, getting up extra racks, maybe happy with the damage his Liberator got. And he does still have all those tanks alive to defend against a potential counterattack.
All right. Zenithor Lance is not going to be part of this battle, but, you know, Colossus is pretty scary anyway. Phoenix killing an SCV in the midst of building another barracks there. Good stuff. And this is not exactly a big enough army from Trigger to really threaten here. Catching a Widow Mine is so bad. Okay. One of the Phoenix goes down, lifting the tank to make this work out a little bit better, but wanted to lift the other tank. Can't quite pull it off. But both siege tanks lived through that endeavor, and now Trigger's the one who has to fall back.
Yeah, a lack of firepower by the Protoss to make that push happen. He really was attacking with the bare minimum units. And Ryung, with the 3 tanks, was able to make the defense happen. And now Ryung, all of a sudden, is looking at 2 full Medivacs, Stim, 1-1, and Combat Shield finishing up.
All right. All the upgrades are coming together quite nicely here. Zenithor Lance coming in for the Protoss 2. Big fan of that. Let's see what we get. Ooh, love this. This double drops. Drops coming down the south side. Drops on the north side. Pylons in position. At least see the south side coming in. Top side Medevac still unscouted. But yeah, as a Terran, you hate to see this. He might just unload and kill the pylon. Yeah, that's usually what happens. You're like, I'm not getting anything done inside the main. Let's take the free damage, get the pylon down, and get out of there. And maybe we can distract enough that the drop coming in from the top right is going to get some work done, as it is flying in.
Yeah.
And there's the Phoenix darting over to try to maybe cover this air. Oh, yeah, everyone's coming
Great
over.
reaction. Was there an observer or something?
No. How did he see that?
Good game
Maybe
sense
he
by Trigger.
assumed. Yeah, he's like, well, if I'm getting dropped in one position, probably getting dropped in the other one.
Yeah. He's been around long enough to glue that together. Now, we are seeing Ryung come on in. Trigger warping in Stalkers to get those 2 medivacs.
Yeah, the drop inside the main, getting some work done here. Still persisting. Stalkers don't want to fight this. Phoenix don't want to fight. Did he hallucinate a Phoenix? He certainly did.
He did, yeah. A scouting Phoenix, I think. But now all of a sudden, the Terran's coming on in. Trigger's 4th base is in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Phoenix trying to deal with these Vikings that are trying to deal with the magic number of 3 Colossus today. Good lift on the tanks, and actually...
Yeah, the tank's being left for dead.
All the tanks die. Yeah, Ryung abandons them, but he's got to drop here inside the natural base, getting 7 probe kills. Not really targeting his attacks all that much. Zealot's not doing anything, but the Colossus are definitely scary. Ryung pushing back down to the south, trying to get on top of this Colossus. It can't. No, it is dead. Great target firing there. Stalker's dead as well. It's 70 to 30 army supply in favor of Ryung.
Yeah, Trigger still failing to deal with the drop in the main base. He's lost 12 workers. Zealots will shut this down, and it looks like he will hold off this attack at his 4th base, but his economy is weak. 57 workers to 68 of the Terran. Ryung is just pumping units, getting out of 4th base, and is in a commanding position in this game.
Yeah, 100% right now. It's more workers, it's more army, it's map control, it's continued harassment. Trigger trying to deal with this, but it's getting worse and worse for him. A Ghost Academy finishing up. Blink finally getting researched from Trigger, but he's got a 4th base coming in. That's like his soul-saving grace right now, is that 4th base. It does exist, so we'll be able to replace the worker count a little bit faster. He throws up a Templar Archive for Storm. Maybe for Archons, as he tried to do in Game 3, but yeah, Ryung, I mean, is really starting to pump right now. Vikings, Ghosts, more and more barracks being added on, and he's coming back.
We got 1 battery building at the 4th base. If Trigger's going to hold on against the next attacks by Ryung, he is going to need a perfect battery overcharge to just soak so much damage, because he's got to defend this drop at his natural base. Ryung is looking to get checkmate here as he comes on in with another portion of his army. It looks like the drop in the natural is pretty much unattended completely. There's the recall. Trigger forces back that part of the army, and then we'll try and deal with this drop. However, he loses a Colossus in the process. He's now got to sprint all the way back to his 4th base, probably. However, Ryung actually just elects to go home. So Trigger does survive using that recall. A boatload of Zealots are moving out for the Protoss, looking for a big counterattack potentially.
Charge lots, charging in.
They do not want to go for this. That is 2-2 bio against 1-0 Zealots.
Oh, no shield upgrade at all for those guys. It is definitely disastrous. Ryung pushing in, Trigger consolidating his forces here. He can cover all 3 of these bases from this position. EMPs.
There's the battery overcharge.
EMPs. 102 to 60 army supply. Ryung kite. The Archons. Yeah, just getting 1 volley down here. Phoenix trying to lift some of these Marauders at a time. A terrible choke. Ryung does not want to attack into there.
Yeah, a nice move by Trigger, and his decision to build his Phoenix count up again allowed him to have control of the skies, push that Terran back. He's bought himself another minute. We got to give it to Trigger here for hanging on. He's still in a very difficult position, but he's surviving for now.
Yeah, honestly, very impressive. I think a lesser Protoss would definitely be dead at this point, but...
Yeah, here's a problem, though. The drop to the natural base. Trigger gonna have to run those probes away. He's bringing the Phoenix in. There should be the 1-2 punch by the Terran, though, as Ryung. He's letting that 4th base live for now, taking his time. This is giving Trigger time to reposition part of his army, so Ryung has failed to hit that 4th base while getting the drop-off a couple of times now. And this is allowing Trigger to live.
But yeah, 100%. That income is absolutely vital for Trigger to stay alive here. He's back up to 70 workers, 78 army supplies, a big deal here. Ryung continue to expand, getting multiple command centers at a time, working on his 3-3 upgrades. War Prison gets picked off. A little bit sloppy control there from Trigger.
Yeah, Trigger is just trying to get a snap fight that Ryung can't win, but there's too many Vikings in the sky. The Zealots do not have the upgrades they need to take on this bio. The Immortals are moving forward, but yeah, it's too much. GG.
And Ryung takes the series 3-1 against Trigger. Pretty impressive considering he went down 1-0 to start this thing. So nicely done by Ryung. Still got it, man. He'll move into our best of 7 finals. And pretty impressive showing for him there in the first series.
Yeah, that is our first best of 5 done. It was really great to have Trigger out for his first SOOP Starcraft Global. And we'll have him back as long as he's staying in Korea. And that means we're going to get into our next best of 5. It's going to be Estrella taking on Rogue in what should be a very exciting PvZ.
Yeah, super, super fun stuff here. Estrella doing pretty well for himself. Rogue's an absolute monster, though, so Estrella's going to have his work cut out for him. Can't wait to see what we get there. But for now, we are going to take a little bit of a break. Go ahead and click on the microphone up top there on the chat and get the Matcherino link out. And support us by go ahead and clicking the claim code button or doing other donations that go directly to the players.
Yeah, we'll be back in a couple of minutes with our next best of 5. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Okie dokie, ladies and gentlemen, you can hear that countdown. I've got to adjust my webcam because I'm now sitting. There we are. Yeah, that countdown means we are getting into our second best of 5. Another one that I'm incredibly excited for. It's going to be, well, let's introduce them. In the bottom right, another North American Protoss. This one's actually American. It's Estrella. He's Estrella.
And in the top left, it is the Korean. I don't even have to say his name, you guys, but it's Rogue. You know this dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It's Rogue. He's terrifying. He's scary. He's one of the 4 queens, one of the 4 best Zergs in the entire world. He has world championships. He has GSL championships. He is a monster. He is scary. We'll see what Estrella does to deal with this today.
Yeah, and that's why it's so interesting to see these two and their power levels clashing, because like Rogue's on the up and up, obviously coming back into form off the military, then so is Estrella. And while Estrella, he's just on the up and up as a player who's been active in the scene, getting better and better all the time, it seems, as he gets more seasoned. And so we'll see who is the better at the minute.
And I do love that Estrella is, competing in GSLs, competing against the best. I appreciate that from him quite a bit.
Oh,
Guess
yeah.
what team are Rogues on right now?
I don't know, to be honest.
It's a new team. It's Team Falcons. How cool is that?
Cool.
They're Saudi-based. He's on the team with Bunny right now. It's the only 2 players.
Right. Rogue didn't qualify for the Esports World Championship, did he?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm willing to bet that team will be short-lived.
Probably, but I like it anyway. It's a great name.
Because like all of the players that were trying to qualify got picked up. And one that did not qualify, Nightmare, he got dropped like as soon as he didn't qualify, pretty much. It's like, oh, that mustn't have been the most ironclad contract.
No, definitely not. And then Estrella's playing for Virtus Pro.
Ah, that's a prestigious team, I believe.
It's a Russian team. Is he the only active player on this team? Just some of these team situations are very weird.
I think they're like a big CSGO or team or something. Don't quote me on that.
It's like active squad is Estrella, and then there's like 10 people on that were formerly on this team.
Yeah.
They're all Russian, like Revolver, Slavico, Turek, Basilisk.
Yes, all those Russian players that I know.
Yeah, right. That you're super familiar with. Anyway, so I'm curious to see if Rogue's going to try to take this thing to late game or just try to, like, kill Estrella fast.
Knowing Rogue, he's going to try and murder this man.
Yes, that is kind of Rogue's thing. He will murder you if you get to late game against him, but he's really interested in showing up with, like, 12 roaches and 4 Ravagers and just crushing your face.
Yeah, he's so darn good at it.
Yeah.
And he has been playing at a very high level already.
Yeah, he back. He's scary. So, Oracle on the way here from Estrella. Good for scouting, good for harassment. And we'll see if Rogue gets those spores up in time. I like to start mine at about 3:30. But if you get it there started under 4, you're generally okay against the standard Oracle timing. We'll see what the Rogue chooses to do. He's getting queens. He's getting the third hatch. He's droning. Nothing too crazy from Estrella either here. And starts up that second Oracle. First one's cruising out. Adapt's going to finish that shade. No, that was close. They saw the speedlings. They were like, meh.
Protoss are always testing the darn waters.
Got to stick their toe in, see how the water temperature is. So yeah, so this spore timing is gorgeous. Wow. Yeah, so the 2 queens keep the Oracle from just jumping in there, and then if it does anyway, the spore is going to be ready to go. And queens at the natural base too.
This is what makes a guy like Rogue so scary. Like
queen positioning.
Compared to Serral, he's like second best at when it comes to like defending. Playing a perfect Zerg game. Although the Oracle does come in.
Yeah, because the queens totally biffed it. And forced one drone to turn into a spore there too. Annoying. So third Oracle, we'll see how many more we get. Haven't seen anybody do too much of the mass Oracle stuff here, but I think Hero did it in a game that I just cast from GSL Season 2.
Yeah.
So
Hero likes it.
Do it. Hero's gonna do it.
He likes it with his blink stalkers and stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. I think it was only 4, but still, having that 4th Oracle is a lot of extra damage.
Yeah, and you can just stasis ward and reveal nonstop.
And in a battle, you can burn down things like Ravagers and Banelings.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
true. And a lot of Zergs will not have anti-air for a long time, so it's like...
Exactly.
The extra Oracles can really save your bacon. Overlord will get killed.
Yeah, definitely. Estrella's position here is pretty good. He just supply blocked Rogue at 5 minutes. That's nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, and 7 kills.
Yeah.
That's an acceptable amount. It's not amazing.
Nope.
It's not terrible.
But getting 0 in the first 5 minutes against Rogue's like, crap, I am in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, he's trimming the hedge that is Rogue a little bit.
Yes. And it's a scale, right? It's not like you kill 1 worker and you're super happy, but somewhere between 7 to 10 you're pretty happy about. More than 10 you're ecstatic about, and less than 7, less than 5 you're pretty sad. Generally, that's what the scale is. So, Rogue throwing down a Hydra Den and an Infestation Pit here, getting +1 missile attack. Man, if there is no... This might just be like Hydraling Bane if there's no splash damage here. We're not working on Colossus. We're not working on High Templar. Oh, High Templar are getting tossed in. Hang on. But they're just Archons?
Rogue tried to grab one of them with the Lings. Nicely done. Yep. That is a huge scout by Rogue, though.
Yes.
The fact that he saw High Templar warping in, it's too early for those to be High Templar for Psystorm. That means that Estrella is going for a Zealot Archon attack, most likely. But Rogue is still just making Lings, even though there's potentially an Archon attack coming his way. You really got to give it to this guy.
He's got a Hydra Den. Like, he'll be able to fire up like 15 Hydras in a second here if he needs to. Lurker Aspect coming, or Lurker Den coming in here. So Hydra, Lurker, Viper, maybe? I don't know. I haven't seen a ton of Lurkers in PvZ recently.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Rogue loves his Lurkers, though.
He does.
He'll just like
better against Terran than maybe they are against.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now,
Rogue will still just get like 15 Lurkers and just like shove them into someone's face.
It's true. Ling's trying to respond to a bit of an attack. That War Prism is scary, but it's just hanging out for now. Overlord sees that.
Yeah, Estrella has been doing a beautiful job clearing this creep.
Yes, like, creep spread is almost non-existent.
Yeah, up to the third base. This could give him a beautiful position to attack into later on. Double Immortal production pumping. Immortal's part of the reason why Lurkers are not amazing all the time against Protoss. looks like we see Estrella step forward. It could be a bit of an overcommitment as he loses a lot of zealots and has to run home with his tail between his legs. He may have to recall, but the Hydras deal so much damage, it's not really an option. One Archon is dead, and that was a big overcommitment by the Protoss player. In fact, those were the first units he's lost this game.
Yeah, I remember when I was like, he just make 15 Hydras when he wants, and then 15 Hydras showed up.
It's true.
And now Estrella's like, I still don't need splash damage. This is a Hydra Lurker army. I'm going to try to deal with this with like Zealots and Stalkers and Archons and stuff. Good luck, sir. What are there? Zealots? Oracle? Oh, Oracle zooms in. Wow. With all the queens in the main base, how'd you get 4 drone kills with that Oracle? Hot dang.
Yeah, he is staying
Impressed.
active with them.
I guess no spores kind of help with that, but still. Get up to Talons. Ooh, Fleet Beacon getting in.
Yeah.
So this is the Protoss response to Lurkers these days, is just getting carriers. Just being like, I hate Lurkers. I hate dealing with Lurkers. Let's get some carriers out. And now Rogue's job is maybe to punish and kill during this transition. Because otherwise, he is going to have to deal with carriers, and the Lurkers are going to be largely dead weight.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all from Estrella because Golden Aura is a really defensive map. So if you want to sit back and build up, the Zerg is going to have a hard time attacking him in, particularly with all this static defense. We've got stasis wards from those oracles thrown all over the place. There is, yeah, Psystorm already done, more stasis wards, and just a small base. So Rogue is going for a Nidus network, but he's going to have a hard time actually finding a location to put one, I think.
Yeah, storm. These Hydras and Queens getting eaten up here. Lurker's a little bit tankier for that storm, a little bit more HP on those guys, but yeah. They get Revelation tossed on them. The Mothership's getting fired up. Rogue kind of just playing defensive here. As you said, it's a defensive map, but Zerg can't just be defensive like this forever.
No, they cannot. It is, yeah, just now a 5-base Zerg going up against a 5-base Protoss. That's not comfortable for Rogue. He's got what's soon to be like 16 Lurkers in his pocket. He is going to throw these at Estrella at some point.
He's got a Nidus, so we might try to Nidus inside the main and get some work done that way. These Hydras just kind of run into a brick wall.
Okay, there's the Nidus. Estrella isn't maxed out, so he can warp in something to deal with this, but he's not doing that just yet. The Lurkers are not in the Nidus loaded up. They're busy defending on the front, and I think Rogue's probably a little bit surprised that Nidus actually got up, and some of these Lurkers are now popping out. This is terrible for the Protoss.
It is. So can't quite wipe that out. The Mothership can kill the
recall.
Nidus.
Oh, wow.
Time warp, too. I think everybody evac'd there. So good reaction from Estrella, but also Rogue didn't really lose much for that either.
No, it didn't really cost him too much. Well done by the Zerg.
And he goes right back into it,
of
but
course
this time
he does.
Estrella's ready.
It's a difficult call to abandon a successful Nidus like that as the Zerg, so you got to give it to Rogue's experience to say, no, I need to get out of there.
Yeah, the Mothership was a huge problem for sure.
Yeah, I guess he could have just cloaked all the units as well.
Yeah.
And then nothing would have died to the Lurkers, so really great call by Rogue. Okay.
Estrella still clearing this creep, man, but that is Lurker Town USA there. Good heavens.
You think there is a Lurker Town USA?
No.
I wouldn't visit there, that's for sure.
No, without a doubt. So throwing up 3 more Stargates here, trying to get into that carrier transition. Rogue has a Spire, so if he needs to start throwing out Corruptors, he can. Estrella coming up the left side, poking a little bit. Mothership, part of the comp here, and fighting a Queen. I love that.
Yeah, like, look at this base for the Protoss, though. There is not a place to call in a Nidus. Rogue has to fly over a cannon to get one off. There is those Zealots in the main base still. It is just the one slow. Nidus network. We see...
Yeah, it's gonna finish. They were slow on the response.
There's nothing in it, though, and yeah.
Yeah, there was like a 1 second window to unload anything there. That's not worth it. Never mind.
This is why double Nidus is cool for Zerg.
Agreed.
Okay, Estrella's trying to go on in, drops the time warp. However, it's still Lurkers, so he can't go in. We see Lurkers getting some good spines off on some High Templar and Immortals, baiting out a lot of those Psystorms. I don't know if bait's the right word. They definitely did get some damage done. And cleaned up a lot of those lurkers. Rogue has another Nidus going up in the main base. The Zealots are gone this time. Is there actually anything in the Nidus, though?
Right, because the battle's on the ground.
Okay, a few lings are popping out, but it's too late.
No, it's ridiculous. They'll get some scouting off here, see what's going on.
Like, the fact that the Zerg doesn't have anything in the Nidus just goes to show how unreliable it is to try and actually get one off. Like,
True.
they don't almost believe it when they do get one off. They're like, oh.
Wow. Huh. So Estrella gets 3 carriers produced. Rogue just fired up like 15 corruptors. He has, he's got 11 corruptors there with 3 more in production.
Oh my gosh. This Nidus has stuff in it. And there it is. Lurkers in the natural of the Protoss. There's a Void Ray, though.
Yeah. So Nidus down, Lurkers down, Stormity, Storm. The Corruptors are like, I don't know why we're here exactly, but...
Yeah, getting the Oracles and the Observers is actually a nice pick-off. There's no detection here to kill off the Lurkers.
That Cyber Core is in a lot of trouble, too.
Oh, in come the Corruptors, too!
So every carrier's dead, the Void Ray's dead, the Mothership's dead, the Immortals might clear out these lurks while we're worried about the Sky Toss, which is nice.
Gosh.
So all the lurkers die, but all the carriers are dead, the Mothership's
Oh no!
fall, and free Immortals are free, and suddenly it's 110 to 40 total army supply, and that's your GG.
Estrella just lost. He had 11 Immortals a minute ago.
No.
Now he's down to 1.
He move commanded them.
GG.
Estrella, you were doing well.
He was. But that's just the rogue ability to kill someone. Like, so many Zergs would fail to get a scratch off on Estrella. And then all of a sudden, like, the Protoss is just dead. Rogue out-multitasked him.
Yeah. That Nidus coming up was huge. The Lurkers actually managing to unload and not immediately die. And then he had the Corruptors he pumped out earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then the carriers were trying to deal with stuff, and the Corruptors wiped them all out. That was brutal, man.
Yeah, that was really, really rough. Taking a second, then we'll load into the next game. Yeah. That was just our first map, though. We'll see if we get more of that late game stuff.
Yeah.
John Solo has a kitten?
John Solo, be nice to your kitten. Done. Anyway, yeah, Estrella was playing well, and then it all just kind of came together for Rogue in the final bit there, and Estrella fell apart, and like you said, a big part of that was all those Immortals getting wiped out. The carriers dying wasn't as big of a deal, I don't think, but losing all those Immortals was much, much harder to overcome.
Okay, both players are ready, so we're gonna go into that next match. The winner of this will go on to face Ryung in a best of 7, so we're either going to have a TVP or a TVZ. I'm definitely okay with that. The cat keeps jumping on the keyboard, so I shush her off. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't stand for that either.
Yeah, no, that's not cool.
Okay, in the bottom right, the American Protoss USA. It's Estrella.
And in the top left, you know this guy, you love him, it is Rogue.
Come on, Max, make DTs and win. LaughNgamez has spoken. Geo LaughNgamez?
Joelmang. Sure. Overlord positioning here is making sure he's not getting cannon rushed to the natural base. So definitely some respect there. Although, I don't know, man. Like, trying to cannon rush Rogue seems like a really horrible idea.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like a super mega bad idea.
Like, I just think that's Rogue's superpower, right? His power is you can, like, triple proxy rax him or cannon rush him and he doesn't scout it at all.
Oh, I know.
And still beat your butt. Like, that's what he can do. Other Zerg players are going to struggle mightily in that situation and lose most of the time without scouting it first. But Rogue just has this magic capability of being like, what's this? A bunker is coming down and this is the first indication I've seen this is coming? I'll just handle it. No big deal. He's crazy.
Yeah, and that's why I want the pro Starcraft 2 scene to live on for so long. It's so that we can see Rogue come back into championship form and give guys like Serral and Maru and Dark a run for their money again.
Yeah, I certainly think he will.
And he's close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't qualify for the Esports World Cup, but that was like one qualifier with 2 slots.
Yeah. It was a mess. A bunch of people didn't make it in that I totally thought would.
Yeah, I think the biggest disappointment for me was Stats and Rogue.
Yeah.
But then again, Stats is recently back, and so is Rogue. So
He is, but like, who else was I really sad about? Hero?
no, Hero's in there.
Did he make it in?
Yeah, I think so. Hero and Classic are the KR Protosses, I want to say.
Okay. Yeah, Lambo 3-0'd Stats to knock him out. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, and then Lambo got knocked out by Bunny or someone, I want to say.
Bunny 3-1'd him. You know,
Yeah, Bunny qualified. Bunny's a sleeper, man.
he is. He's real solid. Not quite, like, incredible, but definitely solid.
No, because he even works like a side job. He's not a full-time player.
Right.
He's just good.
And then Rogue got knocked out by... God, is it Shin?
Yeah, Ragnarok qualified. That's a bit of an upset.
Yeah, but ZVZ, a garbage matchup, man. I feel like more often in ZVZ, the like lesser skilled player can win. I don't know what it is. Too many rushes, too many weird timing attacks, too many like, ah, crap, I didn't perfectly scout how many lings the other guy made. I'm dead now. Just like,
Yeah, that's partly like, oh man. Oh, Rogue, you dog.
Oracle, save him. Actually? Okay, never mind. Everything's fine. We got it.
Yeah, he did
Cool,
bait
calm,
out the
collected.
Oracle's energy. A couple probelings do come in, forces a probe pull, gets one probe.
One probe dies. One.
Yeah, good reaction by Estrella. It seems like that didn't throw his build off too much. The third base will be delayed, however. He's got 700 minerals in the bank. He may lose an Adept here. Her sister comes to help out, but she is a little bit too late. Rogue is just so fast with the decision making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ZVZ's a knight in a phone booth, one wrong move in GG. Exactly. Which is why I'm always mad when a lesser Zerg player defeats a better Zerg player. And it's like, we could have had this better Zerg player deeper into this tournament.
Oh,
They're not here now because a lesser Zerg wiped them out.
I'm not gonna lie, I give Ragnarok like a lot of crap because of that, because he does just cheese people out a lot of the time.
Yep. But then he's not going to do anything on the big stage, and it's like, stop doing this.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I'd have much rather seen Rogue at the Esports World Cup than Ragnarok, yeah. Or Shin, pardon me.
Yeah. Oracle Adept, triple Oracle, definitely enough to shove these lings away. Rogue being annoying, but again, pretty solid defense here from Estrella. Roach Warren, and there we go. I was expecting the Roach Warren in game 1, but Rogue saved it for game 2. Shin's fine, but again, just rather see Rogue. Like, if Shin wants to step it up, and like if he wants to do great at this Esports World Championship, then great. Good for him. I'll change my opinion, but I don't expect much from him here is the thing.
Yeah, like he'll maybe cheese out like one player in a best of 5, but I don't expect him to make it super duper far.
Forcing the Oracles to Pulsar Beam on the defense is amazing. And they got a Stalker.
Okay. Yeah. Rogue being a menace with his Zerglings this game. Estrella is clearing some creep with the Adepts, so that's nice.
Ooh, the Adepts finished their
Oh,
fade
wow.
up here at the third.
Yeah,
The Lings can get no surface on these guys.
Yeah, there is 3 Queens to at least add their damage in to help clean this up, but nice move by Estrella, gets 3 drones, gets out. Oracles come on in to save the Adepts, and unfortunately, Rogue says die anyway.
Yeah, these Lings have just been everywhere nonstop. They're darting into the third base again, but the Stalker count plus the Oracle is enough to get them out. Plus, they're revelated, so there's no element of surprise at all. 7 Roaches getting fired up here from Rogue. He's in a +1 missile attack and Glial Reconstitution.
Yeah, this is why it's important for Estrella to have pushed that creep back so he can move out with his Stalkers and potentially get an attack off on Rogue. So pushing that creep back is very important, which is why we see Rogue doing the reverse and spreading that. The Stalkers are starting to move out with the Oracles. Just chasing these Lings down. Rogue is trying to run circles around Estrella. Just being such a pain, and the Stalkers do not yet have Blink. So they can't get kills on these Lings as long as they keep running. Okay, now Blink's done.
Now the Lings are dying. Dropper Lord coming in from Rogue now.
Oh.
You try to, like, drop Roaches inside Estrella's main base?
I guess so.
Maybe the natural? That'd be interesting. Robotic Support Bay coming in here from Estrella.
Oh, he's bringing the Queens. He's going for an attack, I guess.
He's German taxi.
Oh, he's bringing all the Overlords, too.
Oh, boy. And yeah, Joel May, Shin can't beat Maru, so, like, stop cheesing out better Zergs who can beat Maru.
That's pretty
Not
much
that Zerg
it.
need the help right now. Whatever. All right, German taxi here.
Hey.
Queens up at the third base. Roach is defending. Ravagers defending. This is a pretty classic strategy in the current meta these days. Queens here to
Oh
do
my
with the Oracles.
gosh.
One Oracle goes down. The other Oracle does end up going down. Zealots don't have speed yet. The closing time is too slow, and this base is in all the trouble.
Rogue is so darn good.
Yeah. Poop and creep up here so the Queens can transfuse.
GG.
Woo. Yeah, just the aggression with the Lings all over the place. Throwing Estrella off his game. Charge isn't done yet. There are no Immortals yet. Just macroing behind it is Rogue the entire time. Estrella actually had more workers at the end of the game there than Rogue did. But Rogue was able to get the army up faster because that is the nature of Zerg and just the tech and the... Yeah, it was the charge and it was the Immortals that were there.
Yeah, Rogue is a killer. And that's why I'm glad to have him back in this. I do think that Estrella can bring him down, though. He's just got to hold on past the aggression.
I mean, it's a big ask. But he did it. He did it in game 1. He had a great economy. He had the tech he wanted. He was feeling great. Just a matter of handling that one moment.
Yes, and away we go into game number 3 in this best of 5. Is Rogue's portrait Maru? Or is that Rogue?
I don't know. I like the idea that it's Maru, though.
It's so stylized that it's a little hard to tell.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the bottom right, we have got the American Protoss, Estrella.
And in the top left, it's our guy. He's blue. It's Rogue.
Yeah, Rogue is looking good. For those of you wondering what his form is, I mean, he was looking good after being back for like less than a month. That's what makes him such a monster.
Then there's Cyril, who's winning premier tournaments while in military. So
Yeah, the question is how much time does like Cyril have?
they're not telling us. It's like Korean military. They don't tell us anything about that either.
Yeah. Yeah, like he does have time to practice and he did rent an office to practice in apparently.
Right.
And they're giving him lots of leniency, it sounds like, because he represents Finland so well. But,
And they love him so much. Like,
yeah.
he is a national hero over there. But at the same time, like, these Korean pros, like, Rogue's a national hero in Korea, so, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like the Korean military service is like super duper, like everyone goes.
Yes.
I think literally maybe Olympic athletes get a break. Like Olympic gold medal winners, but like even like BTS or whatever, they didn't get a break on it. And they bring in like billions of dollars to the Korean economy. So
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know the rationale for Korean military. They're generally worried about North Korea, so. But then Finland's also worried about Russia pretty much consistently too, so. I bet
that's
take
why they
seriously
have
as
it.
well. Yeah.
a couple of Zerglings are chasing this probe away.
Yeah. So I bought the Elden Ring DLC.
Oh, how is it?
I was scared of it, and I hadn't touched Elden Ring in like a year. So I was like, I can't play the DLC if I'm out of shape. So I was like, I'll just play through some of Elden Ring on a new game plus. I'll get the timings back. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I just like went through Elden Ring, the base game again, like the whole thing. Just got sucked right back into it.
I saw you were playing that on Discord, and I was like, what did this man do to deserve to punish himself?
I don't know. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as I feared it would be. So yeah, I'm on the final boss of the Elden Ring base game, and once I'm done with that, I guess I'll start the DLC and see how it
I
is.
do want to give that a try sometime, but I don't know. I don't play a lot of new games.
Yeah, I mean, I had not played a single Dark Souls game at all before picking up Elden Ring. So I mean, if I can beat it twice, then I'll bet you can do pretty well with it too.
Yeah, I just got to stop playing the same video games over and over again. That's the problem.
Yep, understood. Gotta play that Starcraft campaign again, which is a lot of fun.
So good.
Tons of fun. People who play Elden Ring secret masochists.
Yeah,
Maybe,
a little bit.
maybe. But I mean, there's something to be said for doing something hard, you know?
Oh, it's so fun. I find hard video games way more fun than easy ones.
Yeah, like the mindless ones where you just kind of click, 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 and win, win, win. Like,
yeah.
I don't see the appeal there.
That's probably a shared trait amongst a lot of StarCraft players that you like
100%.
games that are a bit more difficult.
Yes.
Like I was that guy that was annoying people by trying to play like games on hard mode and stuff.
Yeah, I'm still proud of beating StarCraft 2 campaign on brutal. It was not easy.
No,
But I'm
some of
proud
them
of it.
weren't.
Yeah.
Some of the missions in that game are not easy.
No, especially if you're trying to get achievements on brutal, which is
Yeah.
unnecessarily difficult.
Yeah, some of those were very difficult.
Yeah. All right, Straya throws up a Twilight here. Somebody said needs to make DTs, so maybe that's what he goes for here.
Give
But
DTs.
yeah,
Oracles, they do get out. I will say, Estrella has been very good this series with not losing his oracles.
yeah, not perfect, but good. I'll give him a good rating for sure.
Adepts kill off one tumor. They're gonna kill a second. Will they complete the shade or just run on out? The answer is complete the shade. Wow. Does he target drones?
For the second game in a row, he completes this shade where the Lings can't really get at him. I like it. It's a good move.
Yeah, I think he could have targeted one or two more drones with that, and I would have liked it more. Still, though, not bad.
No.
It does kind of tell Rogue that you're not going for an Adept all-in, most likely. Because you're throwing away your Adepts, but...
True, true. But that only works against Sue, so...
That's true.
Still can't believe that happened.
Oh, poor Sue. Was that like 4 games or something in a row?
4 games in a row. Never forget that. All
That
right,
was-
Rogue gets a Roach War and gets a Hydra Den. That was gross, yes.
Yeah. One of the most series ever.
Ha! Most StarCraft 2 best of series of all time.
Okay, Estrella says, screw adapts, give me charge lots, as he throws up another 4 gateways, has charge and +1 on the way, and is potentially looking to bash Rogue over the head with a rock. As he warps in 4 High Templar.
And immediately Archons those suckers.
Is he going for blood?
Well, the problem is Hydras are getting tossed up, and Hydras eat Archons for breakfast.
Yeah, I guess he's not going for the kill, as he does commit to a second Robo. Interesting. I guess he's going to be wanting lots of Immortals later on.
Yeah, but again, Hydras eat those too. So I don't know. I don't know about this Immortal Archon play at all against Hydralisks. That's range upgrade is finishing, speed upgrade for, well, Roach is finishing anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, Protoss usually do not make Archons unless they're going to attack. Estrella doesn't seem like he's planning on attacking. He's almost just baiting Rogue a little bit here.
Yeah,
And last time he tried to bait Rogue, he messed up and lost a bunch of the army.
I could totally see happening again here.
Yeah, if he doesn't do that, I do like it. It's forcing Rogue to make nothing but units. Then again, at the same time, oh no, 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 no. Mass force fields have to get tossed down.
Yeah, this is just a repeat, man. These sentries dying is they're, oh gosh.
Yeah, they are so important.
Yeah. Stasis kind of holding Rogue off a little bit here, but he is making 7 roaches at a time to add to the giant army he already has. And once again, Estrella, no splash damage. He is getting stormed this time at least.
It's 20 seconds out, and Rogue is like 2 seconds out, though. There is one battery for him to fall back to. The High Templar have no choice but to become Archons. Estrella is a dead man. You cannot have your Archons morphing when the Hydras and Roaches are already attacking. Rogue's timing was too sharp, and he's going to take the 3-0.
Yeah, Roach Hydra this time. So he's done a couple different things in all 3 of these games. But the last 2 games especially, just, man, the timings. 8 minutes. Giant Roach Hydra army there. Absolutely brutal, absolutely terrifying. And yeah, Rogue moves on to the final to no real surprise, but Estrella does get some important experience against this guy.
I honestly did expect that to be a little bit closer. Unfortunately,
The first game was, but yeah.
Yeah.
The next 2 were just stomps, certainly. All right, well, that means we're ready for our best of 7 finals here. We're Young, the Elder Statesman against Rogue. Going to be a great best of 7. Go ahead and click on the Matcherino link at the top of the chat here. Click the megaphone in order to get that link to pull up. Pretty easy stuff. You can log in with anything you got. You can log in with Line. You can log in with a Microsoft login, Twitter or X these days, Facebook. Your Battle.net login can be used to get into Matcherino, which is super rad. So go ahead, get in there. Donate to the players if you want to. Again, every single donation you put into the Matcherino goes to the players, not to the casters. And you can do a claim code button in order to put free money in those players' pockets too. No cost of your own. So be sure to do that for sure. Looks like both players are working on vetoes. We're going to step away for a second here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Rogue and Ryung in a best of 7.
Yes, we'll be back in just a minute here, just explaining our format for the map picks and everything. We'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, thanks Icons for contributing. We got John Solo with the huge contribution. Phoenix as well. Snoopy using a code. Malka Cat using a code.
Crap. Whoops.
Oh.
I pressed. I buggered up.
Ooh, you left the party.
Oh, not party. Just game.
There we go. We got there.
My mistake. I was like, wait a
was
second,
fun.
nobody's in the right spot. The players said go, go, and I was like, I gotta go. Yes, thanks so much to everyone for tuning in to the SOOP Starcraft Global. Big thank you to everyone who's been using that Matcherino coupon, as that does add dollars to the prize pool at the cost of nothing. And it goes a long way to helping the players and ensuring the players come back to our events time and time again, as we've been lucky to have. Now,
Yeah.
in the
Crimson
bottom
Court.
left, it is Vitality's Ryung.
And in the top right, it's Rogue. Did I lose your camera? Come back. Laughing. There it is. I got it back. It's gone for a minute. Missed it.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone for tuning in to this event. It's going to be an interesting finals. Rogue, I think, is the favorite here, without a doubt, seeing that he is in great form. Ryung, we can't sleep on him, though. Maybe he'll cook up something a little crazy.
I mean, I'm down. Proxy hatch it is.
Overlord scouts going off. There is nothing to really make note of in this game. It's a standard opening from Ryung, standard opening from Rogue. And now Crimson Court can be a bit difficult map for Zerg if Terran is to go for something like a tank push or siege this base with the rich Vespine Geyser.
Yeah, fun base to take. Again, it's high ground, so tanks low ground, lurkers low ground, annoying to deal with, but definitely worth it in the long run and not that big of a deal. But yeah, I mean, as safe as an opening is ever going to get here. Like, whatever player figured out this whole 1 rack 6 ban timing for
genius.
Terran, like, genius. This is still the opening in 2024, which is like, all right, man. Your strategy
Yeah.
has held the test of time.
Yeah, like what did Terrans do at the start of Wings of Liberty, where they just like
It was
I don't know.
one-base stuff.
Make a marine or something and run it across the map? I don't know. I gotta scout somehow.
Nah, I mean, Reapers were introduced super duper early, so
Yeah, that's true.
they were used for scouting way at the beginning. Good Ling micro here.
Yeah, Rogue, notably, makes 6lings, not 4, like some Zergs who will try and cut corners.
Yeah, 4's enough. Like, there's no... He wasn't going to die if he only made 4 Lings there.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I wonder whether it speaks to his confidence or if he's like, I'm Rogue, I'll just make use of these Lings later on. Anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, he's like, I am planning on making Lings. But I mean, that's the thing. It could have been another drone.
Yeah, now, I like this from Ryung, showing us his confidence and that he's willing to put it all in a macro game here as he goes for a ridiculously fast third command center.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say sub 3 minute third on the start, but that was a way sub minute 3 minute start on that thing. So
yeah, that was that was wild.
Yeah,
And
I like it.
This is the kind of extreme things you got to go for if you're Ryung and you want to take down Rogue. That poor Reaper is going to get picked off. Ryung doesn't really want to lose that, as it's a nice supplement for his Hellions, or it would have been. Now he's going for a Banshee behind this. Not a bad choice, seeing as how Banshees can help defend against Roach pressure. And only 2 Hellions are out. Well, 4 Hellions. No more are on the way. We'll see if he's going to go for more. Okay, he does go up to 5-6.
Yeah, Cloak Banshee and Hellions, pairing as old as time. Good stuff. You're pairing as Hellion. Good man, Ryung. Taking care of your units is how you know you're a good Terran commander. Ooh, it's a Spire.
Wow.
Is Rogue going to try to go, I mean, against Hellion Banshee? Yeah, mutas are going to be great.
Yeah, why not? And we all know how good Rogue is with mutas.
Well, his second power is that he doesn't have to be particularly good with mutas because his macro is so good.
It's true.
Back before military, I cast several games where he just went all the mutas in the world, lost like 80% of them, just casually, carelessly, and it didn't matter. Like, I've never seen somebody lose that many mutas in a game and win anyway. He's crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's going to try that here, but we definitely anticipate some mutas in play, which is not current meta. I like it.
Yeah, now, there is going to be pressure on him to get something done with these, I feel, though, because Ryung did go for that insanely fast third command center, and Rogue is committing all these resources to going into mutas, so he will need to find some damage with these mutas, or at least shut down the aggression by Ryung. We do see 2 Banshees come on in. They are able to get 3 drone kills. That's not bad. The worker count is now even, which is not good for the Zerg. Ryung, though, is going to have to deal with 10 mutas in just a couple seconds here. And he's got no idea about this. Ryung could just take huge damage here.
Yeah, that's the problem. You don't expect mutas in 2024.
Alarm bells should be ringing for the Terran player, but everyone does this. Everyone will just be like, la-di-da-di-da. Oh, this is great. I'm not even being attacked at all.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, third base is in shambles. This tank's going to get wiped out easy peasy. Yep, there it goes. Their marine count is fairly hefty. The mutas just want to wipe them out immediately.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we'll split them in half. Oh,
this
going on
is
the
what
high
makes
ground.
Rogue so good, though. He realizes, like, he does the math so quickly on what fights, what engagements he can take. Ryung is just getting butchered here. The mutas may be driven out by these marines, but 14 SCVs are dead. A turret is up in the main base, but Rogue can play around that. 16 SCVs. And all of a sudden, the effects of that third command center, that great macro opening that Ryung went for, has been completely negated and reversed. And now Ryung is just running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to catch the mutas.
Yeah, 21 SCVs down. It's 64 drones on the other side of the map. And yeah, it's +1 flyer attack mutas. So this is a fairly standard strat in Brood War these days. Kind of fun to see it in Starcraft too, where you just make a ton of mutas, you give them the +1 attack, you stack them, you kite, you deal with the Marines exactly how Rogue is doing it, and force the Terran to kind of hang out, be afraid of you, while you expand, while you tech up. That's exactly what Rogue is working for here. I'm a little surprised it's not as common of a strategy as I think it should be.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
Rogue commits onto this turret. He's going to trade out 1 or 2 mutas for a lot of SCVs. He now goes to the main base. Will there be a repair on that turret? The answer is no. The +1 lets the mutas cut through the turrets incredibly quickly. We're seeing Ryung basically be all in as he's up busy on the other side of the map, but Rogue is up to 25 Banelings.
Yeah, and he's got Baneling speed on those suckers too, so that's huge. The mutas are just goodbye tanks, goodbye reinforcing units.
Does he go back with the mutas just to kill the tanks and with it Ryung's hopes in this game?
Look at the Marines like clustered around that one tank.
Yeah, Ryung at least sees it coming, but that doesn't make it any easier to execute. A lot more reinforcements are coming in for the Terran. They're a little bit late, though. Rogue is going for it. The Marines are splitting okay, and most of the Banelings have been dealt with. Ryung needs to get the kill, and he may just. He's got 50 Marines against 17 mutas. There's not a single Baneling on the map for Rogue. Rogue got huge damage done, but now he's in trouble.
Wow, yeah. I was like, why don't people just make Mutalisks in current meta? And Ryung's like, because of this. Hatch down.
The Baneling nest is being targeted.
Oh, that's big. There are 4 Banelings in production, but that's going to be it for a while. The Spire, I'm not sure, even needs to die. The mutas they're picking off medevacs. They're doing what they can here, but the Marine count is hefty. He's making more mutas because what else can he do?
Mutas flying over Marines. There's basically no lings out. There's like 0 lings, and mutas cannot fight Marines alone. Ryung, he's taking it slow and steady. He's killed the natural. He's going for the main. He's going to get the spawning pool after killing the Baneling nest. Drones are pulled because there's nothing else to support the mutas. The Marines will cut them all up, and Ryung will take it, I think.
That's it. Like 5 Marines left over, but the economy is in shambles for Rogue. Actually,
I mean, there
you go.
Okay. That was closer than it should have been, but whew.
Man, yeah, so Ryung's like, oh, really? A lot of Mutalisks, you say? You know what's really good against those guys is a ton of Marines. And yeah, he got good upgrades for him. They were huge. He had medevac support. The Banelings did not do all the damage that they needed to do. And that was awesome. Like, what an absolutely fantastic game 1 there from Ryung. Taking the map off of our dude Rogue. All right, so we're going to hop on in here. Looks like we're going to go to Golden Aura. Yeah. For game number 2. I'm going to hop right on in. Great game 1. Really going to give us a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I would say a little bit more suspense as to how this series is going to go.
Yeah, really. I did not expect Ryung to go up 1-0 against Rogue.
No.
If you asked me a prediction at the start of this series, I'd have said 4-1, maybe 4-2 for Rogue.
Right. That's still in the possibility here, but
it still is, yeah. But a great start for Ryung. A lot of the times in those situations, Terrans do lose because they run out of steam, they overstim their Marines, they get hit with a bunch of Banelings. But the Baneling nest died. Ryung was able to push forward super quickly as well. It's not an easy position to get the win in, but he did a great job of it. And here he is in the bottom right of Golden Aura.
And in the top left, being like, maybe mutas aren't the best. Rogue.
Maybe he's thinking I should have built more mutas or something like that.
More upgrades. Next time, +1 flyer carapace.
Yeah, Rogue does win a lot of games like that. He just wasn't quite able to pull the defense together. Like, Ryung did a good job with that push. And it might have been a bit of the map, too, that he was able to get to those bases without traveling too far. I don't know.
again, no proxies here. Ryung respects the rogue. And I think he is smart to do so. Because as we talked about earlier in the cast, you can triple proxy rogue, have him not scout it at all, and he will still beat you. With a hatch first, which impossible for any other Zerg, I want to say. Impossible, nigh impossible, but rogue will just do it, man. So kind of takes that off the table, which is kind of a problem for Terran.
Yeah, it's true. We talk about the ebb and flow of how common the Proxy 2 Rex is, and it's definitely less popular right now.
100%.
Terran's kind of switched it out with that Mass Reaper play, but Zergs have gotten better at figuring that out as time has gone on as well, so...
Yeah, we'll see how fast the third base is for Ryung here, if he goes for it. 2 base timing attack, not off the table here at all.
Big thank you to everyone for tuning in to the SOOP Starcraft Global number 4. Make sure to get your username if you are new to the platform and you're just lurking in chat. Leave a like on the stream and let your friends know what you're up to this evening. Okay, I'm watching some awesome Starcraft. Rogues playing.
Reaper staying alive is a big deal here. And there's that third CC, man. Not quite as early. Maybe it is as early as last time. Either way, sure helped him in the last game to have that fast third command center.
Yeah, it did. And it went completely unpunished, as you'd expect, because Zerg can't do too much against it.
I mean, it's tricky. The problem is, Zerg can't really scout that it's happening. So you just kind of have to try to blind punish a fast third CC, and if they're not doing a fast third CC, you're in trouble. So, I mean, you can't do a fast third CC every single game because then Zergs will start to accommodate for it. But if you mix it in, it's a really, really powerful tool and part of a whole series like this. Banshee coming out again. Saw the Banshee happening in game number 1. Reaper Hellion buddy cop movie showing up here again.
Yep.
And queen positioning, just making sure that Rogue's on top of things. Reaper gonna hop in. Ooh, getting a tumor's not bad. Big fan of that.
Yeah, that is really nice.
And Cloak again. So
Wow.
Cloak Banshees, fast lair.
Are we going to be having deja vu?
Spire again. Yeah, he's like, nah, that's not how that's supposed to go.
I honestly think it might be, because like Rogue does win a lot of games like that. You get some damage done with the mutas, the Terran feels forced to overcommit, they make a mistake, eat a few banelings. Like, Rogue's won a lot of games like that. And the Madman is going to be doing it again as he fires up his 6 gases.
Yeah, wow, Baneling Nest 2. And there's the Spire. Bam, confirmed. All right. I kind of love it. Rogue's like, I had it. I had the game.
I do too. I love it as well. And I am wondering about like whether it was harder for Rogue to pull off just because Ryung did have the supercharged economy.
Yep.
But
he still does.
Yeah, and he's going to have it again, so this will be a really great test to see how this works. We do see Ryung going in for a bit of a cheeky attack. The Banshees are cloaked. Lings come in to try and assist the Queens as the Banshees just shoot away on the Queens. They're going to get two.
Down. They could still fire on more of them going after some of these drones instead, which puts them in range of the Spore.
And he sees the Spire.
Yeah, he sure does. Man, some Liberators might be pretty good here. That splash damage is nice. We'll see. But really, all you need are Marines, as we saw in game 1, if you have enough of them.
So Rogue will need a Baneling Nest, and he does have it done. He's just got to start up Centrifugal Hooks as soon as he can. Queens are pushing the Banshees away. What's the damage count? 4 dead drones, 2 dead queens. We're seeing Rogue try and get a bit of counter damage down on the other side of the map. He hasn't got too much. He's really got to stay on top of that creep spread, though, to give himself room when Ryung does inevitably attack.
Indeed. So Muta's coming in, that +1 attack getting fired up, Centrifugal Hooks. I mean, this is exactly what he did in game number 1. Ryung should not be surprised by this. He scouted the Spire.
Yeah.
Is he going to try to get into Thor's maybe in time for these Mutas?
Yeah, he goes for an armory and a second factory, so he's not necessarily expecting to get the kill, like, right away. He is just playing this out, gonna try and deal with the Mutas. The Mutas are not gonna find 18 kills or 21 kills like they did in the previous game.
No, and the missile turrets are up in time this game too, which is everything. They were not ready to go in game 1.
Ryung was completely blindsided in the previous game. Looks like Ryung is starting to move across the map now. Rogue has 1-1 on the way for the Lings, but it's not going to be done in time for this attack. He doesn't have any Banelings made just yet. He's getting them out now. 7 is not that many, though. The 2 tanks can easily kill those in like 1 volley. And look at the position on the tanks behind these rocks. This is not great for Rogue. He's actually just going to go in for an attack, use the queens to transfuse the Mutas, prevent them from being picked off too easily. Forcing a stim out of Ryung, forcing a bit of hesitation. He's buying time, making another 14 Banelings. Rogue is
Clearing some
so
of those
good
tumors
in these positions, but can he clean this up?
Changelings wander into the Marine group, immediately get scattered out and murdered. He was working up those rocks.
There's no combat
There we
shield.
go. Oh, that's got to be a mistake.
That is disastrous for the Terran. It starts up now. I think Ryung finally just realized, but these Marines are going to be way softer than they should, and Rogue may clean this up. The Marines get a lot of shots off on the Banes, but there's just a bit too much here for the Zerg. It looks like Ling's spilling forward. The Mutas supporting, able to get some nice pickoffs and rout Ryung. Rogue is playing a great game, but it certainly is a lot easier when your Terran opponent does not have combat shield.
Yeah, he's fired it up, but is it too late? Way too many Banelings this game. The connections were good. There were not enough Marines on the remain. Third base down, and I don't know if he can save it. Ling Muta on the handful of Marines that exist here. Again, without that combat shield.
Yeah, no combat shield.
The luckiest widow mines of all time. No, GG.
Okay, that's more of what Rogue wanted with the Mutas.
Yeah, absolutely a fantastic showing. Hold on a second. Gonna step away.
No worries.
Beer back.
Okay, we will wait for... Oh, there we go. He's back. That was quick. And just like that, we're going into our third game of a tied series. Rogue has looked like the more dominant player today, I'd say. Ryung's not making huge mistakes, though, but still.
Yeah, it's really weird that he gets caught by surprise with the Mutas in game 1. Wins anyway. And then in game 2, it knows about the Mutas, prepares for them pretty well, and loses to it. So, like, I don't know what to make of that.
I think the moral of the story is if you get a chance to kill Rogue, do it.
Ha.
Anyway, in the top left, it is Ryung.
And in the bottom left of Amphion here, it is Rogue. Very fun map. I love these maps where players spawn
Yeah.
on the same side.
Yeah, Amphion being Ryung's map pick. Feels confident on it. And it can be a bit awkward for Zerg, I find. There's a nice little pathway for the Reapers to go up and down.
All right. So standard stuff here. Rogue hasn't gone for a pool first in the series yet. Not that he needs to, but it can be pretty good if the Terran wants to expand on the low ground and they have an SCV scouted, etc., etc. Let's see. Looks like Ryung is sending the SCV out to scout. So pool first, not the greatest move, which is good because Rogue's not doing it in this game. Yeah, building command center on the low ground. We'll see the timing on the start of that third CC, which I would be shocked if Ryung did not go for. That's really helped him. And there's not much that Rogue's doing here, so...
Yeah, Ryung does SCV scout. He's parking that at the third base, so maybe this is a feature of this map. He realizes, like, Zerg really only has one option for a third. If I block it, that's going to be a pain.
And that's why I feel like Reaper should do that. Reaper should be out there blocking third bases more often. Instead of trying to kill a Ling, which against a good Zerg player, hard to do.
Ryung is microing his heart out.
Yeah, not much else to do with all your 300 APM at this stage of the game.
No.
And it's tough to get a tumor down when a Reaper sharking around like this, you know? Lair coming up again. Is he just like, I'm going to win the whole series with mutas, thank you very much? Maybe. Maybe that is what he's going for.
Okay. Third command center on location.
Yeah, and Rogue's third base starts now at 340. Overlord's speed coming in pretty early too.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
Rogue's getting aggressive. It's just going to be a Ling flood.
Ling, just dropping Lings, no Banes. Huh? Oh, the Reaper. Oh, the Reaper stayed alive. That's huge. Did he catch a glimpse of those Dropper Lords, though?
I'm not sure he did.
What a weird strat.
There is a bunker on the way for Ryung. So maybe he's a little bit suspicious. That bunker would be huge, as Mass Repara allows the SCVs to be very helpful. The Queens are there to help deal with the Hellions, deal with any air units that are there, and all of a sudden it's going to be a lot of Lings flooding into Ryung's base. Here we go. Liberator Siege is up. The Queens are actually just going to drop right into it. I'm not sure there's going to be enough anti-air to deal with that, as the Liberator can just be dealt with. So Ryung did scout this out and is able to shut this down.
That is so sick. Ryung, you monster. I love this.
Yeah, Rogue has no choice but to go into a half-baked macro behind this.
So yeah, droning up, more Queens, but his third base is late and Ryung's third base is early, just like building it on site, like you said.
Lings do go in, however there's the bunker, the Liberator. Rogue is feeling a lot of pressure right now to get something done. We see a Viking come in. It's going to kill one of those overlords. A queen has no choice but to unload, zone that Viking out. Rogue's building spores to deal with, I guess, drops in that Liberator, potentially.
And the Liberator, definitely, yeah. It's going to be much easier. Working on a +1/+1 for these lings. Waiting for a Baneling Nest? Something would be good here.
Oh, look at that. He dropped a Creep Doomer.
Oh.
Making use of that drop reward.
Yep. Pooping some creep, throwing a tumor down. Love that play. That's fun. He's gonna do it again, maybe? I'm still waiting for him to do anything but make lings and queens.
Oh, he's making drones as he pumps out 14.
Yeah, he's up to 57 to 48 on the lead there.
Ryung did
Liberator
cut SCV production.
And he's getting combat shield this time, so that's nice.
That does improve his odds drastically. Okay, Hellion's cleaning up that creep. There is queens in position to help zone them out, though. Yeah, Ryung's worker count is a little lower, I think just because he did cut worker production a little bit amidst all that chaos. Not that he's
firing
lost
them up
many.
3 at a time now. Right. He didn't lose any necessarily, but... Yeah, Rogue's finally getting a Baneling Nest. So it's going to be just like a Lingbane Flood thing here.
Yeah, mass lings. He's the best at it, I'd say.
Yeah.
He does have 1/1 done already, so he's going to be on even upgrades as the Terran. That's very important. However, in comes the Terran. I don't think Rogue saw this coming as he just fired up 10 drones. He's panicking and making 10 Banelings. I'm not sure he's going to have time by Ryung. Ryung scans. He sees the morphing Banelings. The Lings have no choice but to go in. They are going to get an okay wraparound on some of the Marines, and this is a boatload of Queens for the Zerg, and in come the Banelings.
Ooh, wiping out those Hellbats. Bonus to light, really useful here. But still, 3 Hellbats remain. Medevac can heal those suckers up, but the Queen count is hefty enough that suddenly Ryung needs to get out.
That is a lot of Queens that Rogue had. He's making 28 more Lings, making just a handful more Banelings. The 1/1 upgrade surely helped out there. The couple Banelings he's making have been shut down, so it is just going to be on the Lings and Queens to defend.
Widowmine gets another hit before it is forced to retreat.
Oh, miss micro by Rogue.
That is a 9-kill Widowmine. Amazing stuff. And coming up on this 4th base a little bit. Rogue responding properly. He has no Banelings to deal with this, but the Queen count is like 8.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit intimidating.
Rogue's macro prowess really showing off here as he's somehow managed to squeeze his way up to 4 fully saturated bases with a 5th hatchery just about done. The Terran player is still only on 3 bases and pushing. Rogue just needs to hold on for another minute or 2 and he'll be in a much better situation.
Yeah, he decided to throw down a Hydra Den. Can't really blame him for that.
Oh, Baneling's rolling forward, but the Widowmines get massive connections. Most of the Marines do escape from harm.
Baneling takes out one of the Widowmines, getting revenge there. Let's see if he throws any Hydras into the comp here, or if he's okay with just making... There we go. 5 Hydras get fired
Nice.
up. So giving them the range upgrade. Hydraling Bane for the strategy here, which is my favorite strat for Zerg these days in the current meta against Terran especially.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hydras will help out with all the skirmishes. We see Rogue double expanding. I love to see that. A macro hatch in the main. A 6 base going up. Even though he's not really saturating them, having the spares is really important. Ryung has given up on the push on the front, it looks like, which is not a good sign for the Terran player. He's just going into the dropping phase, but you can't help but worry about a Terran that's trying to play a late game against Rogue. We do see this drop get off. He kills a Hydra or 2, but then he gets pushed away. Rogue is going up in supply. And yeah, Ryung, like, he's just getting up his 4th base.
Yeah, he got the 3rd base so early, and the 4th base is now?
Yeah, it's super duper late. He's only got 6 mines, 2 tanks. That's not good. Like, Rogue can deal with everything the Terran has.
Drop it in the main.
Yeah, some Banes and Hydras will respond to this. We are seeing Rogue come in towards the 6 base location.
Man, 56 Lings in production is a lot of Zerglings.
It is. That's the thing. Rogue is catching up in supply despite being in a deficit for most of this game. He is going to run forward with some of his Lings. He does eat a nasty Widow Mine. And it is a scary position that Ryung has picked up, but Rogue doesn't necessarily even need to fight. He can potentially just expand left. He's got an extra base up already, and now he's looking for a counterattack.
Yeah, I don't know if he has enough Lings for that with the upgrades you would need, but...
Oh, he's gonna try.
Well, with the Banelings, yeah, absolutely. Let's get in there. Banelings connecting on those SCVs. 20 to 24 SCVs going down.
Oh my gosh.
Main base gets cleaned up, but not outside of that. That third base is in a ton of trouble. Hatch snipe, but that's why those backup hatches are so important, as you mentioned earlier. Hydras can't stop that from happening. The Banelings are necessary. Lurker Den getting fired up by Rogue and all of this chaos, and it's a bit of a trade out, but at the end of the day, it's 79 to 47 workers in favor of Rogue.
Yeah, that was a huge play by the Red Zerg. Rogue just knows when to take these fights. We do see him actually having placed Spore Crawlers where that previous drop was. He's got some Queens and Lings to respond to this drop. The push is still going on the front, but it's as much of a choke point for Ryung as it is for Rogue, as Rogue can just hold this location. The tank's feeling some friendly fire. I'm not sure Rogue should go in for this, but he's doing it, and he's going to clean up this position. No Overseer with the army, so the Burrowed Widow Mines do stay alive. That is important.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's still 77 to 49 workers, though. Ryung is not replacing those SCVs that he lost.
Yeah.
Trying to get pressure up, trying to get mules down. Big fan of that, but... Hives coming in. We're going to get an Adrenal here soon. And yeah, Rogue's economy is just massive.
Yeah, it's massive, but it's already sustained one blow, and losing that hatchery. Ryung is positioned to try and take out another. If he can get one of these hatches, that would be all that he needs. But we see Rogue reposition. He knows what's up as he goes for a massive wraparound on all this bio, forces the evacuation of the Terran. And Ryung is still just unable to make anything happen against this guy.
Yeah, lurkers are being added in. Seismic spines being researched first, as always. Ryung is going into ghosts, so he will have what he needs. Dude, catching these lurker eggs is actually massive.
Yeah, that's nice.
Bam, bam, bam. Canceling 5 of them. There's still a couple out, but those 5 are kind of a big part of Rogue's plans.
Rogue is going to charge forward. The lurkers do not have adaptive talons or seismic spines, so they are not as useful as he'd have liked here. As a matter of fact, they don't actually deal all that much damage. They can be a defensive tool after that fight didn't go his way. However, Rogue does have enough supply to fall back on that Ryung cannot push through.
Yeah, now that Seismic Spines is done, the range is incredible on those lurkers. Going to be so tough to deal with anything other than siege tanks, really.
Yeah.
So Ryung's got to get those ghosts up and start getting some snipes down on these lurks. Expecting Marines and Marauders to do it on their own is just too much, especially if it's just Marines. There you go, lurkers. There you go, picking off one of the lurkers. Very nicely done, Ghost Control.
We're now seeing a Nidus go up for Rogue, so he's not a guy that just plays defensively. He's always looking for damage, and soon enough he'll be able to throw up a Nidus, potentially get lurkers in the main or one of the bases of Ryung. That just makes me so worried for the Terran, because you completely have to change gears. You're trying to get damage done to the Zerg, and then all of a sudden, it's just the lurkers in your base is not a good feeling.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to deal with, man. But with those ghosts, it definitely gets easier.
Yeah, 13 drones did just get fired up by Rogue. He wants to play off a 95 drone count, which is nuts. He's reestablishing another hatchery to help with that, and then he's throwing up another hatch as well. Another Nidus is on the way as well. He wants to go double Nidus. There's one going up in the main. Rogue is reacting to this, so
yeah,
well done to him. Even building a bunker to help out with that.
Oof, the Widowmine connections have not been bad in this game. Really helping kind of keep Ryung in this.
They have, and the game's slowed down a little bit here, as we see Ryung just adding on more and more command centers. Maybe he's saying, right, if I'm not going to be able to kill you, let's play that long game.
Yeah, let me get up to like 20 ghosts. You like that, don't you?
Looks like a drop will find the space.
Ryung is just doing everything he needs to do. Double Nidus now coming up. One inside, looks like the natural base, one inside the main, but both are being reacted to pretty well. Siege tank.
Oh, look at there's so many ghosts. Yeah, come out of that
the
Nidus.
Ghosts are like, unload. Do it. Do it. These weird little half rich minerals, half regular minerals bases on this map. Is that another Widow Mine shot? It sure is.
Ryung, celebrating the fact that it's the Olympics, is getting up the Olympic rings of sensor towers.
One more, but he's close. Yeah, Fusion Core getting added in, Double Factory coming in. He might go for like super late game TVZ Mech Ghost.
I love it. Like,
yeah.
Particularly on this map, as it was Ryung's map pick, it's very, well, it's easier to defend on, it seems. Ryung is playing LaughNgamez. However, he's not prepared for this one. In come some Marines, though. There's a bunker there for them to dive into.
Totally fine. Like, that's the thing. You can be a little bit late to Nidus denial and still be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, nuke getting fired up. Let's go. Let's do that. Where's Phoenix? Phoenix always wants us to bribe the players to make nukes.
Phoenix, wake up.
Phoenix, this is your game.
Okay, those ghosts for Ryung have built up a lot of energy, so he can just throw out snipes as soon as he gets the chance. Both players are being very passive, though. No one wants to take a bad fight at this point in the game.
Transformation servos is coming in from Ryung.
Hey, oh, hatchery
kill hatch. And then defending top right. Yeah, Ghost wiping that out. Ooh, free Overseers are free.
Double Nidus attempt once again. Rogue is like, I will get into your base. And he may succeed this time. There we go. Lurkers unburrowing.
Uh-oh.
Where are those ghosts for Ryung? Ryung is dropping a nuke.
Yeah, that's why he's distracted.
Oh man, this is getting chaotic real quick.
Lurkers in your base are a lot more damaging than a single nuke on an expansion. Sorry.
The ghosts come on in. They can snipe these lurkers as long as the spines don't interrupt their snipes, and the lurkers will retreat further into the base. One into the base, the rest into the Nidus.
That nuke land?
Pardon my observing. Yes, it did.
It totally did. But like 2 drones died, so no big deal.
Yeah. Okay, Ryung building more and more command centers. He says, I need more, as he's got, what does he have right now? 4. So, okay. Makes sense that he wants a few more. We'll have to watch the bases as this game progresses. There's, in theory, 1 base on the right, 1 base on the left for either player, but I don't think it's going to break down that they're going to have an even share of these bases.
Well, if it is even, then Rogue is probably dead. He needs to have more income to win this thing, especially against this
Oh
mech.
my gosh, look at that. That is
that
Fort
siege
Knox.
tank count is massive. So Rogue's like, all right, how do I break this? Throws up 40 Zerglings. Probably not how we break this.
No.
But it's tough. This is a tough strategy. Tasteless called this one of the more cost-efficient strats in all of StarCraft, is this meching ghost combo. It's really powerful.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And, like, the Niduses are good if he gets them off. But as we saw, if the ghosts respond to it, the lurkers just have to retreat, and they will die.
Rogue pushing middle. Ooh. But, again, the siege tanks just
He's trying so hard.
Away.
He has found a nice position.
Yeah, this planetary is going to die. A lot of Zerg's going to die with that tank positioning, though, too.
Yeah. The Lings, it's like, okay, but the Banelings are quite pricey.
Yeah, I don't know. Once the ghosts are out, I just feel like lurkers have a hard time getting their value.
Okay,
unless
now
they're Nidusing.
Now we have the Niduses going in, but Rogue just dodged snipes. Going back into that.
And every Nidus is 75 gas. So, I mean, this is not free what the Zerg player is doing.
He didn't utilize this one. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that could have been pretty great. Although, I don't know. Ghosts in the main. Response time not that slow.
Yeah, it's true.
He's making more lurkers. 11 lurkers, 30 more lings. They've got 3-3 and Adrenal. Everything's upgraded. Plus 2 vehicle weapons is finishing up here, which is going to be super nice. I like how the creep is just pushing into this base and Ryung's doing really nothing to stop it.
Okay, Rogue is just going to go for it. However, there's so many tanks. Widowmine's mixed in there too. He is just in attack mode. SCVs are dying. The base will be cleaned out. Some of the ghosts did perish, actually. I guess a few did.
Yeah. Lurker spines. He's going to replace those. He is down in army supply and worker count right now. Ryung is, but mules can accommodate for a lot of that income difference.
Yeah, you just got to be careful as the Terran not to let Rogue snowball and kill you before you can remax.
Yeah, making 4 tanks at a time. No Thors today, which is something we generally will see a little bit of in this strat.
This is what Rogue does best, though.
Yeah, just swarming multiple locations at once here, coming in, catching a ton of SCVs on the retreat there. It is just problematic. Ryung is falling apart here.
Yeah, Ryung doesn't have the ghost count either to deal with all these lurkers, but then Rogue's also moving so fast. It's not like he's being given all the time of day to just snipe these lurkers in a drawn-out game. We're seeing Rogue now come from behind. The Liberators are not in position. The tanks are being cleaned up. 1 Hydra is there, and that could actually kill off some of these lurkers, but there's plenty of stuff going on elsewhere on the map. Ryung is getting some good snipes on these lurkers. That's really important for the Terran. Getting a nice trade, actually. Yeah, that was a bit of an overcommitment, it seems, by Rogue, as the resources lost were evening up a bit, but then Rogue fell by about 3,000 there. Another Nidus going up in the main base. There's 2 Liberators waiting there, but Rogue doesn't care. He just walks right by. Ryung's going to need to scan to deal with that. But there it is, and all those lurkers die, so now we're seeing Rogue try and get a big fight, and he is going to have an amazing engagement wrapping around unsieged tanks and ghosts with nothing to support them. He's going for the throat right now. This man does not stop attacking.
Yeah, this is getting absolutely tough here. He doesn't quite crush it, but 3 command center there with the Hydras is great. 50 more lings, 10 more Hydras at a time being produced. Yeah, Rogue taking that left side base. He's got the right side base, and Ryung is just starting to get mined out. His income is not nearly as good with the 30 SCVs. Even with mules, that's hard to overcome.
It is, yeah.
You know, one of these is just going to be the last one.
And his orbitals are... they're quite in disarray right now, as we see. One of them floating back. Rogue's just going for it. He's thinking this Terran's weak enough to kill. He charges into siege tanks, into Liberators, into ghost snipes. He doesn't care if he's not trading perfectly.
No.
Because there's always another attack coming, it seems.
Yeah, he's throwing up Niduses where there are
so
siege tanks
ridiculous.
parked on him. I mean, he's just not being at all careful with these Niduses.
Not at all. Ryung is now feeling the pressure, going to go for an attack. He's got Blue Flame Hellbats to help deal with the Lings, which is actually really nice. The tank count
16 Banelings
is 11.
Yeah, Ryung's got a bigger army, plus it's mech and ghost, so it's going to be more cost efficient.
Yeah, like, the supplies are very misleading right now because Ryung's down like 60 workers.
Yeah, he needs to make this work, though, and I don't know. Tanks are awesome. Here we go, coming in, tank firing on everybody there. Ghost, nothing really to snipe as the Banelings are charging in at them. Ghost down, Ghost dying. Tanks getting whittled down. Reinforcements coming in here from Ryung, but every Ghost that dies, every tank that dies is just another nail in the coffin here for Ryung if he can't make this work.
And I don't think he can. Attacking on the creep is just too difficult to pull off. More tanks are rolling in. If they siege up, that would be nice. But there's Lings to get on top of them. There's no more Hellbats to support. GG, Rogue takes it. in a 25-minute sloppy Terran versus Zerg.
Yeah, resources lost there were massive for Rogue, but it just didn't matter. He had so much economy. He's just collecting so many resources throughout the entire game, and it just doesn't matter that he lost as much as he did. I mean, it's not the lose all the mutas strategy, but it's the lose all the everything else strategy that he is so good at.
Looks like your camera is off, by the way.
Oh, did I turn that on when I came back? That's fun. All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Looking red for some reason. What's going on? Oh, we're back. Color correction kicked in, I guess.
Okay, our next map will be Ghost River. Still got quite a ways to go in this series.
Yeah, it's another same side of the map spawn here.
Yeah, Ryung likes it. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning in. Doing these events is always a pleasure. It may be a little bit before we see the next one after this, unfortunately, as I've got some life stuff going on, so I'm not going to be around my PC setup. But I will schedule one of these as soon as possible.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. In the top left, we have got Vitality's Ryung.
And in the top right, it's Rogue. Ooh, extractor. No, extractor trick. I was like, extractor pool opening would be so cool. But not what he's doing here. Extractor tricking, though.
Yeah, I guess just worried about a potential hatchery block or bunker rush or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, it helps you get down your hatch faster, but like, SCP blocking isn't a thing in the meta? I don't know what he's worried about.
I do not know.
Practicing it for PvZ, because that is something that happens against Protoss quite a bit on this map.
It's true, yeah.
Alright, well, Ryung not mixing it up all that much here. Gonna get a Reaper, gonna expand, probably a fast third again. And I mean, look, if you can take Rogue to 25 minutes, you're feeling okay about yourself, you know? Especially because Rogue did go for that fast mass Ling drop that was rebuffed pretty effectively by Ryung. It's like, okay, I can handle what Rogue throws at me. Gotta feel good about that.
It was a really solid game for Ryung. Just like Rogue he's the best when it comes to attacking like that. And it was almost looking like maybe Ryung is gonna weather this storm, but then just like Rogue's able to get on one of those planetaries and then another. And then he had that great engagement in which all the tanks were unsieged with just the ghosts hanging around. And that's what really did Ryung in, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of tiny little cuts, man. But incredible stuff. Ooh, almost got a drone there. That would have been huge. Forcing it to turn into a spore is a win.
Oh,
in
and he
itself.
gets one. What is going on with Rogue? Where is his two lings? Oh, they're on the other side of the map.
Oh.
Where's the
okay.
Marine? The Marine is on the ramp,
There he
so
is.
the command center will build.
Yeah, it's a tiny bit of a delay, but not really worth writing home about.
No, and it cost Rogue a drone, so.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryung already has the third command center on the way.
Yeah, this is what he's been doing.
This is not just like a one-off thing he throws out. Clearly, it's just the way he likes to open in the matchup.
All right. I mean, like I said, it's really hard to punish it as a Zerg player.
And here's a fast lair again. Is it going to be the mutas?
I mean, It's been mutas, but it's also just been fast dropper lords.
Oh, it's roaches.
In this game it's roach. So he got a roach warren in the game. He went mutas in game 1. I think maybe that's just a safety roach warren. He's like, if something comes a little bit earlier than I want it to, and the mutas aren't ready yet, I can throw out some roaches. Well, this could actually be roach. Also entirely possible.
Yeah, plus or an Evo chamber on the way. Pardon me. I got there eventually. Okay, Reaper and Hellion gonna run in. They will see this roach warren. That's an important scout. And it is just a handful of roaches on the way for Rogue. He's playing really safe this game. Unless he doesn't stop making roaches.
Yeah, glial reconstitution fired up here. The Hellions are like, our time is over, man. There are so many roaches coming out.
Yeah. Hellions are not too good against roaches. We do see a reaction from Ryung getting up a single bunker. He's got Stim on the way, so his Marines will be okay at fighting the roaches. You kind of need the Medivacs to support them. The bunker being repaired will be the stopgap of HP that Ryung needs when Rogue does attack.
Yeah, because he's going to need it. Ravagers adding in tier 2. We have stopped making drones entirely. Rogue is coming for you. We talked about this before the series started. This is one of those things he'll do. And by that I mean he's not moving out. Is he trying to hide how much he has? He's like, I only have 3 roaches, look.
Yeah, is he waiting for Ryung to take the third, which he's doing?
Mm-hmm.
And Ryung is moving out with these Marines, but all of a sudden it's hey, hey, hey.
There are a few more units here than you might have been expecting, sir. I don't know. I kind of like the Marine count. It's just roaches trade so gosh darn well.
They
Combat
do.
shield's coming in, but it is not anywhere near done.
Okay,
so
there's
that
the bunker. The tank is very vulnerable. It will be chased away, but the bunker's holding.
And the tank lives. That's huge. He sieges up on the high ground. The repair on the bunker is massive. Crucifle's not... There you go. Getting tossed down a little bit on those Hellions. The bunker, the repair is so good.
Rogue is targeting SCVs, getting what he can. He wants that tank too. Great save by Ryung, picking it up in the Medivac.
Wow. Bunker dies. Siege tank lives. It is absolutely 4 kills on that guy, and he's going to survive, but man, more dudes are showing up. That glial reconstitution is a big deal. Natural base is a ghost town. I don't know what we've got here from Ryung to come back from this position. 43 to 20 on the army supply. Third base not happening. Rogue is going to swing over there and make sure this end needs to lift off. More SCVs. Man. 33 SCVs down now.
He's down to 18 workers. Ryung, like, he held the attack, but not without taking critical damage.
Yeah, it's 63 to 20 workers right now. Again, mules are great. They're not that good. More roaches getting fired up. A ground carapace upgrade and a missile attack upgrade coming in here too. Combat shield being done for Ryung is massive. Tanks can be good, but man.
Yeah, he's gonna try and play it out, it looks like. It's a really difficult spot, though. Rogue's getting up a 4th base. He's getting 1-1. And if I know Rogue, he's just going to be getting ready for the next attack.
Just waiting for the shoe to drop, man.
Yeah.
Trying to look and see. Is like, are there roaches over here? Are they going to come from this angle? Where are... I know.
Yeah, Rogue is on guard of potential drops right now, but nothing's coming. He's going to be at 200 supply in a minute here.
Yeah, and that carapace upgrade is massive against these Marines.
Hold on, what's the unit count? It's 24 Marines against 30 Roaches and 8 Ravagers. There's 4 tanks out for the Terran. Ryung's got that 1-1 halfway done now, but I don't think he's got that long, to be honest. And
Nope,
yeah, Rogue
certainly
sees these Marines in the drop, and he's like, you need that to defend.
Yeah, what are you
Oh
doing?
no,
man?
and all the tanks on siege, and it's like, oh, Ryung, why? I mean, he was dead 5 minutes ago, but...
Yeah, but it just made it a little bit easier for Rogue than he needed to get this win.
The
Yeah,
Marines
great
are
position.
trying.
Yeah, the armor is helping a lot, and look at how many roaches are coming in on the reinforcement. It's insane.
GG. Rogue
Yep.
doing what Rogue does best to Terran
Yep.
players.
Yeah, in like several different ways too. That's what's tricky about him. That's why Rogue is Rogue. Just, yeah, he can do anything. You cannot come into a ZVT with Rogue and go, oh, I know what he's to do. He prefers this. It's just like, no, man, he'll do anything to you. He'll Ling Bane go after you. He'll go for drops. He'll go for lurkers and hydras. And maybe he's not dumb enough to make ultras in this matchup, but otherwise, everything's on the table here.
I mean, how much does an ultra cost? Like 10 banelings? Just make 10 banelings.
Yeah, exactly. The ultras just get sniped and murdered, and it's very sad, so.
Site Delta will be our next map, and it's time for a comeback from Ryung.
Yeah, I almost feel like he's got to get this one. Yep, Site Delta, more of the standard maps in the map pool. There's a lot of weird ones. This one's pretty darn normal.
Okay, away we go to game number 5. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning in today. Make sure to leave a like on the stream, give the channel a follow.
Yeah, it's a good place to be. All right, top left of Site Delta. Again, a very normal, kind of boring map. It is.
And in the bottom right, it's Rogue.
Yeah, once again. Just no proxies. Again, I can't recommend it, but I almost feel like you gotta mix it up in some way here if you're Ryung.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rogue mixed it up. Last game he went for a roach timing.
Yep.
Maybe Ryung should try like a 2-1-1 or something this game into like a 5 Rex or 8 Rex push or whatever.
Yeah, right? Battle Cruiser Rush would be super cool.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Zergs are just making too many queens by default for it to really...
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just that Zerg's got really good at punishing it too. Like, Terran commits 700 resources, or more like 1,000 because of the fusion core too. Then the Zerg's like, you need to get a lot of damage done.
It's just hard. It's so difficult to do.
I like it, but then again, people in low masters don't know how to deal with it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've been
Like 1 BC or
Oh, I
2?
go 3 into mech.
Yeah, there you go.
And then the
Yeah,
Zerg's
that's the way to
freaking
do
out.
it.
They're like, "Oh man, there's 3 battle cruisers. I need all these corruptors." Then I'm like, "How about some Thors?"
And that's the thing. You do need the corruptors against that many battle
You do,
cruisers.
yeah.
But then, yeah, you also have to have stuff to deal with the ground stuff. It's like, oh, grumble, grumble, grumble.
Okay, command centers A third. Building before the second is done for Ryung.
That's what he's been doing the whole series.
He's-
Can't complain about it. He hasn't
No.
been punished. Well,
The
the last game was kind of a punish.
It was, yeah.
LaughNgamez says mixing in the factory BC build, which you're talking about, was great for TVZ in best of 3s and best of 5s.
I just never mix it in because it's the entire mix.
It's all of it.
Like, I don't know how to play TVZ Bio. I genuinely don't, because I've literally been doing it for like 7 years now. Battle cruiser rushing.
Yep. Don't see why not.
I try and play Bio, and then like the Zerg just Ling Run buys me, and then he hits 80 drones and kills me with Banelings, and I'm like, all right, back to BCs.
Gotta work on double prong drop. That's how you do it at that level.
It's so hard though. Just build battle cruisers instead.
I'm not saying it's better than battle cruisers. 2 base immortal all in, like Sentry immortal. Is that what you're talking about? Pretty
You
good
can
against
still
Zerg
do
until-
that sometimes.
But Ravagers exist now.
Yeah.
When Ravagers didn't exist, it was super good.
Oh yeah, it was so broken.
Yep.
Like the Protoss would just literally force field the ramp in perpetuity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well,
Force fields surround the immortals, and it's like, well, the Lings can't get in there, and the Roaches are all dying.
yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
The Ravager revolutionized the matchup.
Totally. I mean, it was always like totally unfair that you could force field the main ramp for a
Oh,
Zerg
yeah.
player and keep them out of it forever.
Yeah, what did you need? 6 sentries and you could force field
2.
for forever? No. I mean like 6 sentries and you could force field again and again and again and again.
Yeah. No. I think it's 2. It's maybe 3.
No.
Yeah. To endlessly force field a ramp, it's not that many. Force fields last a while. Protoss in chat's like, by unfair, you're talking about based.
Okay, Ryung is getting up. Lots of racks off the back of this. Off the back of these 3 bases, Ryung is getting up, or pardon me, Rogue is getting up 1-1. So he's probably going to be making a big swell of roaches sometime here.
Six-minute infestation pit is fast.
It is, yeah.
It's one of his little infestor roach plays. I haven't seen that today. Let's practice all of my builds here real quick.
Stim finishes up for the Terran. We see Combat Shield on the way. The third is still rather undefended, as Ryung is just hunkered down at his natural. The 2 Banshees.
Hive. Yeah, 2 Banshee good.
Man, I miss these Banshees. Pardon my observing.
Nah, they're doing fine. But yeah, he just goes for really fast Hive. Like, that is a Hive that's starting sub 7 minutes.
Is
which
that just
zippy.
because of the Banshees? Like, because he's not going to be able to kill Ryung as long as those Banshees are alive, unless he Queen Walks or whatever.
Yeah.
And boy, Ryung's looking to push on out.
I like it.
He's been clearing creep, using lots of scans, and now he's got these Stim Marines. 1-1 is finished. Combat Shield shall be done soon. Overlord gets killed, but not a supply block.
Yeah, this is like the first really serious 7 to 8 minute timing push we've seen from Ryung today.
Yeah, the Banshees are out there as well, adding in their DPS. The tanks are sieging. Rogue's setting up for a surround. There's Marines to buffer, though, and they're doing a good job of it. The concave for the red Zerg is looking pretty good, though. And
yeah,
that fight
the tanks are taking corrosive biles. The Banshees are unstoppable, but it doesn't matter. GG.
That fight was like 5 seconds before combat shield finished for the Terran.
Oh, again, just too late on it.
GG. And that does give us a 4-1 victory for Rogue. He dropped the first map and then just did not make that mistake again. So congratulations.
Yeah, all different kinds of wins there. The loss with the mutas, the win with the mutas, the win with lings and banes and lurkers and hydras, the win with Roach Ravager, the win with just defending against a very pretty standard, kind of tough to deal with, usually 7-minute push. But he just handles it incredibly well. I mean, absolutely fantastic showing.
Yeah, Rogue played incredibly well. He's won a couple of our events in the past. It's been a while since he's participated in one, though, obviously, so we are glad to have him back.
Yeah.
And we'll see if we can find someone who will beat Rogue in our next event. Yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning in. If you want to see more of Falcon Paladin and I, you can check us out on YouTube, on X. And yeah, do you have anything else to add?
No, that's it. Just, yeah, watch X for announcement of the next one. It is probably not going to be as soon as you'd like it to, but we'll keep you updated.
We'll do one as soon as possible. Yeah, so do check us out on X or find our Discords, and that's a good way to get notified of those events. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Sounds good. Take care.
Bye-bye.